right, Sean, let's go ahead and tie up our capes.
I got that aerodynamics with our capes. What do you say about cows?
That was a close call. Glad we figured it out, though.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about capes, cows, and close calls.
Capes, cows, and close calls. Yeah, that's the one we got. That's it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Capes. That was really fast. Let me slow down. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Capes, Cows, and Close Calls. My name is Nick. With me, always, is my co-host, Sean, the Irishman King.
What's up, everybody?
Sean, we have a very special guest today.
Yeah, we do.
Straight from TikTok. This is where I found him. You know what I mean? Host of his own podcast.
Let's go.
Hip hop lover, anime lover, entrepreneur, fashion mogul. Malcolm, master of the Mangekyo Sharingan, Crawford.
What's good, everybody? It's Malcolm Crawford from the Storm Podcast. Y'all already know what it is. I am so happy to be here. I've never done a guest appearance on a podcast before.
Nice, man.
So this is the coolest thing ever to me. I love comics. I love superheroes. I've sat and talked to you guys for I don't know how long before we've potted today, and this is going to be a very fun time.
Yeah, man. We're super excited to have you on, man. I reached out to you. Got a response. That's what it was. I hopped in your live. I was like,
yeah,
he's live now because, you know, TikTok has it where like if somebody's not following you back, like you can't message them.
Right.
So I was just like, how am I supposed to reach out to this guy? And I saw you on live. I was on my lunch break at work and you went live and I was just scrolling and I was like, oh, he's live. I was like, let me hop in here and talk to him. And I was like, you know what? Let me message him. I put it in there and I asked you, I was like, do you like comic books like DC and Marvel? And you were like, yeah. I was like, I have a podcast, and you know TikTok has like the character limit,
right?
So I was literally gonna type the whole message like, I have a podcast, would you be interested in collabing? And I only got like, oh, I have a podcast where I do this and that. And you were like, oh, that's dope, man. I'd be interested. And then right after, as you was about to say, I'd be interested in collabing, like the message of me asking you, would you be interested in, you were like, yeah, collabing. I was like, yeah, all right, cool. There we go. I was like, because I was like trying to hurry up and type. And I was like, I got to get both of them out really quickly. So it worked out, man. And then shit, you're right around the corner. So
that's the cool part. That you guys are in Chicago. Because I remember I asked you, I was like, yo, should we do it on Zoom? Or if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, I am down to drive. Or
I told Sean, I was like, bro, he's here. Like he's fucking here.
I was saying, it's like it's meant to be. Like, here we go.
Perfect.
Dude is here.
That worked out great, man.
It did. It definitely did. So, and that was a whole like moment because I'm like, because our usual studio, like I said, it's in my house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, do I invite him to my house? Is that weird? Like, I don't want to. I'm like, where's the? That. I was like, that might creep him out. I
was like on both ends because I'm like, you're gonna feel weird asking, and he's gonna feel weird coming. So I was like, we gotta find a different location.
Yeah, I was like,
that's actually the reason me and my friends got a studio was because we used to record in one of our friends' basement.
Yeah,
and we were like, we can't invite guests into your basement because not everybody's going to feel comfortable doing that. Like, some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't want to walk past your washer and dryer to start to go pod with you guys. So we decided to get a studio, and that's the exact reason why.
Nice. So
this is an awesome place too, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, I mean, I don't know why I'm saying thank you. I had no
thanks,
part.
Man.
So luckily, you know, Sean works here, and he's got the pool, man. He's got the pool we need to make this happen. So you guys rent like a studio?
Yes. So we rent a studio. So that's where we do our podcasting out of. We also make a little bit of music just for fun. I'm not like a rapper or anything.
Right.
But, you know, we make a little music for fun. We make our content there. I kind of use it as an office. I also have a clothing brand. So all my inventory is there.
Almost, right?
Yep. Almost isn't good enough. I got my hoodie right over there.
Nice, man.
But, yeah, that's super dope. So I love having the studio. We just bought a ping pong table. So we play ping pong there. Yeah. Fun as hell. Like, I love it.
Definitely. That's cool, man. I didn't realize that.
Is it in the city?
No, it's actually in Oak Park. So I'm from Oak Park, Illinois. That's where I was born and raised, and that's where our studio is. It's not too far from my house. So
nice.
Yeah, Oak Park from here in traffic is like 30 minutes. Without traffic is like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I remember driving from work here, like it's super close.
Yeah, it's mad smooth.
Yeah, it's not that far at all.
Yeah,
that's super cool, man. So I know that your big following is from like anime.
Yes,
that's your thing.
Y'all see me with the Killua shirt.
Yeah,
gotta have a Killua drip, you know.
So we're definitely gonna talk a bit about that We're gonna probably make some references that Sean won't get because Sean
That's cool. Just let it go right over my head.
infamously the anime hater in the podcast.
That is
I tell him all the time, I'm like, bro, we should expand into the anime. And he's like,
You know what I follow up with, though? He doesn't watch Star Wars either. And that's a whole other base that we could be hitting.
Guess what? Me
You've never
either.
seen
No?
I've never seen Star Wars.
You know, one of the biggest franchises of all time, guys.
I've
That's
seen
all I'm saying.
one Star Wars movie, and people hate me whenever I say this.
It's one of the newer ones?
It was The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
That was the only one I've seen. So I do want to get into
You've
Star Wars.
only seen literally one?
Yeah.
How many have you seen?
None.
None?
I haven't seen
What's
this.
wrong with you two? Have you seen Star Wars?
Like the old ones too? Okay.
I want to get into it because my co-host, he goes by the name of C2. He watched them recently, loved them, told me I would love them. I trust his recommendation. So I'm going to watch it sooner or later, but it's probably
This one's a little bit
later.
farther out. Have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
I've seen 1, 2, and what happens in 3? Wait, which one is 3?
3's
That's Prisoner of
Prisoner of
Azkaban?
Azkaban.
In 3. I've watched the first 3 Harry Potter
He should have
movies.
kept going.
I heard
Because they get better and darker as they go along.
That's what I've heard. My
Yeah.
girlfriend's mom is the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world. She's always telling me to watch the movies and read the books. I just haven't got around to it. After I got into anime super heavy, it's kind of hard for me to watch live action stuff,
It
man.
encompasses a lot, man.
Yeah.
I get that. Sean's a huge Harry Potter fan. Like this dude listens to the ebooks on repeat. Like the audiobooks.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I always
that's
got like a
hard.
long drives and they're perfect.
He's just fucking listens to
kind of
them.
cool, actually.
I've
Yeah,
never
that's
read a
cool.
Harry Potter book. I've seen some of the movies, but I don't really fucking remember them. It was so long ago. I don't know, man. Harry Potter just, my girlfriend loves Harry Potter, but it just never, I don't know. It never drew me in. It never drew me in as a
I
kid.
remember liking them, but I just, once I got older, I don't know, I never kept going, but I probably should now. Now I'm thinking about it that this might have been the push I needed.
The push you need, yep.
To go ahead. I don't know. Would you recommend Star Wars or Harry Potter first?
Sorry, this is the thing about Star Wars is the first.
There is a Star Wars anime.
I've heard about that.
Visions, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's relatively new, right?
It
People
just came
swear
out.
about the cartoon for Star Wars too. The Clone
I hear the
Wars and
cartoons
everything,
are really
everybody
good,
swears by
but
it.
Yeah,
the-
my friend right here loves the
Yeah.
Clone Wars and wants me to watch it very badly.
The new anime this just came out on Disney Plus. I've heard is really good too. Maybe you'll like that anime. Maybe that'll be the one.
Maybe that'll be the
way to
one.
get
That
you
might
into
be
it.
it. That might be the one.
No, but the thing about Star Wars, the first 3, like the original 3, are so old at this point that like if you didn't watch it as a kid, they're kind of brutal to watch now.
Like the graphics
The
and
graphics,
stuff?
yeah.
That's what
it's like
steered
super
me away
brutal.
from it.
Okay.
And like I get it because it came out in 1977, right? So
Yeah.
way before.
Like at
any
the
of
time,
us-
it was amazing.
Yeah, way before any of us was born. And like, yeah, at the time, it was groundbreaking technology.
Right.
But that groundbreaking technology for 1977 is not
now.
even like shit. Like people on their fucking MacBooks at home can do better
Right.
than they did in 1977. You know what I
could
mean?
probably
So
do
it's
better
like,
in 20 minutes.
yeah,
off
like
my iPhone.
I'm sure I've
nowadays.
seen TikTok videos with better fucking
Right.
like CGI than
Yeah.
like that movie. So, and they were big into practical effects too, like real puppets and shit. But go ahead,
Yeah.
my bad, I cut you off.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's gonna be hard because those 3 are gonna be real brutal to watch. If you can make it through those 3, you'll like appreciate it. And then it also goes out of order, right? So the original 3, and then there's the 3 that follow are prequels to the original 3,
Yeah,
and then
I've
they
heard
went
about
to
that.
like the end and they did another 3.
Right.
And then there's like movies that like fill in the gaps and stuff.
Okay.
But everybody, shits on the prequels. And the first 2 are brutal, but the third of the prequels is by far my favorite Star Wars movie. Because it's the one you
That's
see
the
Vader
Phantom
goes.
Menace, correct?
No, Phantom Menace is the first one.
Okay. tweaking.
It's the one where you see Darth Vader go evil, and he's just like powerful and evil, and like the effects are right. So like that's super entertaining in that movie.
That sounds fire. I would probably like that.
It's Revenge
I
of the
might have to watch
Sith.
that.
If
Okay.
I remember the title correct.
yeah,
I might have to watch that. I think I
It's-
might watch Star Wars soon.
doing a podcast about like comic books, and I imagine it's probably a bit similar for anime, but maybe a little different.
Right.
Just because like anime, I feel like anime has just gotten to a point where it's pop culture, right?
Yep.
Before it was kind of like a realm of its own. It was like if you're an anime person, like you're an anime, but like you're different. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like comic books, I feel like because of all the movies and stuff, has been a part of pop culture a bit longer. So doing a podcast about comic books Like I know a lot of I feel like I know enough pop culture references that like certain things I just feel like I don't need to watch. Like Star Wars, I get all the references. You know what? I've never seen the movie, but I've heard the references enough and got the context enough that like I just feel like it's one of those things I don't need to watch it to understand if somebody's talking about it. You know what I mean?
We talked about this on our podcast. There are certain pieces of media that I've never seen the original piece of media, but I've heard enough of in pop culture and watched enough like remakes to where I might as well, bro, I've never seen A Christmas Carol. I know everything about Christmas Carol. You feel me? Like there's certain things that I've never seen The Wizard of Oz. I could tell you the plot from front to back.
Yep.
There's certain things you just know.
Because you are in pop culture.
Yeah.
Like pop culture references other pop culture.
Exactly.
So it's just like I've seen enough of those references in the stuff that I do like that I don't feel like I need to go and like watch it. Like I don't feel like somebody's gonna make a reference that's gonna go over my head because I'm just like I get it. Like I know what you're talking about. And I like Star Wars kind of falls in that category for me. Like so I'm just like, do I really need to go watch these movies?
I know a lot about Star Wars, even though I've never, Luke, I am your father. I have the high ground. Yoda. Not
Han shot first. Who shot? You know what? I'm like, I get all those fucking references.
I played Lego Star Wars. You feel me? I know the plot. Like, it's the same thing more or less. But
Star Wars games are cold.
Fire. What's the one with Star Killer? What is that game called? It's the one where it's the clone that Darth Vader is teaching.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of the game.
I love that game. It's not even like on real consoles. I think I played that on the Wii years ago. But that game was so cool. Yeah. Darn, what is that game called?
Star Wars games have been really good. So like, so between the games and like all the other pop culture references, I don't need to fucking.
It's close.
I don't need to watch.
You have the general idea. I feel that.
Like
I'm still gonna watch it, but there are certain things where I'm like, I could do without it.
So I know you're big into manga. Yes. Which is basically Japanese comic books. Right? Like that's
same thing.
That's what it is. And maybe you need to read some manga. Maybe you like the manga better because like a lot of the stuff that happens in the anime, they cut it out in the manga. Like it's more
I'm gonna be honest
streamlined and straightforward.
I'm sure the repeating doesn't
matter. Don't start with manga.
Do they repeat in the manga as well?
No, they don't repeat in the manga, but here's the thing about manga. If you like comic books, going from comic books to manga is gonna be difficult because it's only black and white.
That's true.
Sometimes it is very difficult to tell what is happening without the color. Because you can imagine, like, it's hard to tell the difference between a fireball and, like, I don't know.
Like water ball.
Yeah, when there's no color, that can make it relatively difficult because you're like, there are panels where you look at it and you're like, I have no idea what is going on right now. Well, you'll just be staring like, is this the person or... Is this that's the one thing I can say about manga where you're like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on right now. Like I'm so confused.
I get that. Yeah, you're right. I forgot manga's never in color.
There are some that are in color, and sometimes fans will go back and recolor things. Right. But some manga do come out in color. But if you did want to get into manga, I would say read one in color first. If you don't read the like,
what would you recommend? Which one?
That's tough because. Personally, I would recommend watching anime before reading manga.
I agree.
I would say watching anime before manga is the best way to go.
I don't read manga at all.
I just recently started like 2-3 months ago. My homie put me onto the Shonen Jump app. It's $2 a month, and they have basically everything I want to read on there.
That makes sense. Like I want to read some of it because again, I do. I just feel like it's like Japanese comic books, right? Yeah. And I love comic books. So I'm like, I want to read it. And then some of the stuff I want to get, because people are always like, well, there's more in the manga. They flesh this out more in the manga. There's more to it in the manga. And I get that. I'm like, I understand. Like but some stuff I'm just like, I'm cool enough with the anime, but I want to get those side stories. Like for My Hero, I don't really have an interest in reading the manga.
Mm-hmm, me either.
But I know that they did like a separate story, and I can't remember what it's called, but you probably know. There's a separate story they did where they followed a hero in America, like the number one hero in America.
I believe that's the Vigilante series.
Yeah. I heard that was good.
I heard it's good,
and
too.
I know we're never going to get that in the anime, so like I would want to read that.
That's my feeling on manga. And I mean, I don't want to go too deep into manga because I know we want to keep it in comics and such. But here's the thing when it comes to manga, for my opinion. And this is, I don't know if I would consider this a hot take, But for me, manga is more or less anime spoilers. I think anime is the better medium to watch things in.
I agree.
So
those fucking manga snobs, I'm like, dude, shut up.
Exactly. I only really read manga for anime that are already finished. Like for stuff that I know I'm never going to get again. Because I don't want to read something in the manga and be like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like it's shocking.
Right.
But, it's not that great. And then when you see it in the anime, you're like, I knew this was coming, but it's still pretty cool. I want to see it in the anime for the first time and be like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then I can go back and like watch the rest.
What I experienced with Invincible. Did you watch Invincible?
I loved Invincible.
So we read Invincible.
So wait, you like Invincible?
I like Invincible.
You like anime.
I brought that up before to Nick, and he's like, that doesn't count as an anime. I was like, all right, man, I tried.
It's not an anime.
It doesn't count as an anime. But if you like Invincible, you will like anime.
But I wish we read it for the episode, which I appreciate, but I wish I didn't read it because it was cooler to see it happen first in the show.
Did you read the comic?
I have not read the comic.
See, so
they're
read
close.
it.
They're like, they don't change much.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
They're
that's
very
why I didn't read it.
Spot on. But we were the opposite. I like the comic better. I like the pacing of the comic better. I like some of the moments that they change. And like some of them, it's not necessarily I liked it better. I just feel like I get why they did it both ways, right? So like, spoiler alert for the comic book for you, right? So the scene, like in the first episode, we see Omni-Man fight what was the name of the squad?
What are they called?
Justice people.
Something
I don't
Justice,
know.
for sure.
Global peace. It's right on the Guardians of the Globe.
Guardians, that's
there
it.
It is.
That's it.
So we see him fight them at the end of the first episode.
Right.
That doesn't happen until like 10 issues into the comic book.
Oh.
So it takes a while. We get more of Omni-Man. You get to feel more like
you get more connected to him.
Yeah, he's a better dad in the comic books than he is in the.
I disagree. I thought he was a better dad in the show.
I felt like in the show he was right off the bat just kind of a dick. Like you just kind of get that feeling from him, versus in the comic book originally he's like, I don't like he's getting his powers, but I'm afraid. I don't want to teach him just yet. Like I want him to just be a kid. I don't want to have to worry about this stuff. In the show, he's already like
you're mixing the two up, man.
Maybe I am, but one of them
That's
is
how
like
it is in the show. That's not how it is in the comic.
See what
you're right. He teaches him more in the comic than in the show. In the show, he doesn't really do much.
He doesn't teach him that much.
In the comic, he wants to teach him right away. Like he's like trying to teach him how to use his powers, and he's like helping him. Like there's a scene where he's like teaching him how to fly and stuff. But the fight is what I'm trying to get to. So like it's like issue 9 or whatever, right? In the show, it's like a big brawl, right? Like and it's a part of his plan.
Right.
In the comic book, he just kills all of them in an instant without them even knowing who did it.
Which is why I like the
like
show better.
I feel like it's better in the show then.
Yeah. It's way like it's more graphic in the show, but I feel like it's darker in the comic
because it shows like how powerful he is.
Yeah, because he just swoops in and he's just like he just murders like all of the main members except for Immortal. He saves them for last because Immortal's now on guard.
Right.
And he's like, come out. Like, who is it? Like, why are you doing this? And Omni-Man comes out and he's just like, he cuts his head off. So just like in the show how he chops his head off.
Right.
But it's like immediate. It's like, so you really see the difference in power level between this entire team and Omni-Man. Like he's on a whole different level because he killed all of them without them even realizing it. And I liked it a little bit better. Like I
like the detective work that in the show, but more so from us that happened in the show because that happened in episode 1.
Yeah.
So now we're all like,
why did he do this? What's going on?
Why did he do that? We're like, what the hell just happened here? And we were just trying to figure out for episodes and episodes because we watched it.
That's really what put you like the hook in. You're like, now I really got to keep watching this.
Right, you're like, what is going on? Because my podcast, we watched it episodically. So we would literally watch the episode and then
record.
Yeah. So we were doing our predictions literally as it was coming weekly. That's what we do for a lot of our anime, which is awesome because we can see either how right we are and the listeners can hear how right we are, or we all get to laugh at how dumb,
how wrong we are.
Yeah. Be like, dang, why did we think that was going to happen?
Yeah.
But that's one thing that is cool about this show because it happens right off the bat and we're like, why would he do something like that? Like, I don't understand it at all. And I have to say, but my co-host C2, he guessed it right. He guessed Omni-Man was evil from another planet, all that. Yeah. I was dead wrong. I don't remember what I said, but I remember I was wrong as hell.
It's like a classic story. He's evil from another planet, right?
Yeah.
But I do understand, like, that hooks you in. I would suggest going to read the comic book.
Okay.
It's good. Like I said, I like the pacing a bit better. It is a bit slower, but it's more fleshed out.
I heard Amber was less annoying in the comics. Right?
Way less annoying.
Okay, because I didn't like Amber in the show.
Way less annoying. That whole, like, the show really speeds up a lot of the events. Okay. I mean, like, shit that fleshed out over, like, 10, 15 issues in the comic books happened in an episode in the show.
Right, because the show was 15 episodes?
I think it was 10.
10?
I think it was 10.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 10?
It was short.
I don't remember.
I remember it being short.
I think it was 10, and it progressively got a bit longer. Like, it started off as, like, I want to say maybe 30-ish minutes, and then got to like 40-something by the end.
Okay, word. That sounds about right, yeah.
But they definitely made some choices in the show that are like, holy shit. Like the end scene when he fights his son and he holds him up in front of the train. Yeah. That shit does not happen in the comics.
Which is why I liked it better in the show.
Intense.
That scene was crazy.
That was crazy.
Different.
Yeah, it was definitely nuts.
Different. Using his son to kill people. Like, I was like, oh my God.
But
oh my god!
From what I hear, the creator of the comic book, he wanted to do more stuff like that in the comic. He just didn't get the opportunity to do it. So when they gave him the show, he was just like, "Yeah,
let's get it.
I'm going crazy."
Yeah,
like he really went in and started doing more. So
that's dope. That's
cool. But yeah, that'd be it's a good comic to read, especially if you're like newer to comics because it's self-contained, right? Like there's a lot of issues, but that's it. Like it's no, like we were talking about earlier, it's no Spider-Man where there's a million different Spider-Man universes and comic books. Like it's just one linear story. You don't have to worry about spin-offs or multiple universes or different. This Invincible is written by this person and drawn by this person, and then this one's written by this. It's just one story.
Okay.
So it's a good place.
What was it that they
to
did?
read.
He's like going through parallel universes at one point in the comic book. They like allude to Spider-Man and Batman, and like in the universe that he's like knocking through.
Yeah,
I heard that.
It's funny. It's a weird.
The company
reference.
has ties to DC. Like it's not run by DC, but sometimes DC picks up their heroes. Like Cloak and Dagger? I believe Cloak and Dagger came from this independent comic place that did Invincible, and then DC picked them up. And I believe Static Shock also.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that happens in comics.
Yeah, where they just like kind of work with DC, and sometimes DC will be like, hey, we'll buy that from
DC you. And Marvel buy up every fucking thing. Yeah. Like,
I'm trying to think of who owned Static Shock. I know this. It's the same person that owned Icon.
It wasn't Cloak and Dagger. It was Icon. You're right.
Icon, Static Shock,
and it's the same
characters.
It's the same
I feel
place.
Like it starts with the V. You know it.
I know it.
You know it.
Valiant. Is that what you're talking about?
It might be Valiant.
Valiant's a bit new though. Valiant doesn't Valiant do? No, they don't do Bloodshot.
I feel like it's Valiant.
It might be
DC
Valiant.
Bought it.
Yeah,
I remember like learning about how they then they decided like they incorporated and how they wrote all those characters into the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because now you'll see like Icon and Superman in the same shit.
It was Icon and Static Shock. They were made by the same place that made Invincible.
Yeah, they have a huge monopoly if you haven't noticed. Like DC and they buy up everything. Like Star Wars is now a part of Marvel Comics. Like Marvel produces Star Wars comics. They've had crossovers. Like
it's because it's owned by Disney,
right? Yeah, that whole
Disney is insane.
That's true. They're the monopoly, I guess.
It comes down to Disney and then Warner Brothers for DC.
Yep, that's true. So they mix all that shit together too. But yeah, man, cool. So, are there any comics you're reading right now?
Comic books, I'm reading the Avatar the Last Airbender comics.
Nice, I like that.
Love it. I'm a huge. I know you don't like anime. Have you watched?
I've seen some of.
Just some.
That's
okay. So let's be clear. So Avatar is not an anime.
It's not an anime.
So I'm in the clear anyway.
It is a cartoon.
It's not an anime.
It's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon. People like to put it in the anime category.
It
the writers.
I'm trying to think of how far I got. I got maybe to season 2 or something like that. I think it wasn't like I didn't dislike it. It's just like life happened and I didn't make it.
Yeah, Avatar is one of those things where like I was a kid when it was coming out.
Too.
You know what I mean? Like so like I wouldn't be surprised. Like I it was just I was at the mercy of what Nickelodeon played. You know what I mean? So there was a
didn't
lot of
even have
episodes I hadn't
cable.
seen.
I used to go get the DVDs from the library.
Did you?
And
Yeah.
I would
See,
that's
I
how
did the
would watch
same
them.
thing, but I was
Yeah.
doing it with Batman and Justice League.
Nah, I'm cool on that.
he didn't have cable either growing up.
Yeah, I didn't
so
have
was just-
cable until I was in 5th or 6th grade. I don't know, something like that.
Gotcha.
And my parents never got it. I didn't have it until I moved out.
Dang,
Yeah.
that is brutal.
Which is the big reason, like, I never, like, none of the Nickelodeon shows, like, I wasn't into Dragon Ball Z because I didn't have it. It's not like I disliked it. I
Yeah.
just wasn't
And
an
that's-
option
I
for
feel
me
that.
to
That's
watch.
probably a part of I've addressed that's probably a part of the reason why he doesn't like anime
like
because
that
that
probably
was
has
some
to
of
do
those
with it.
animes that like when you're a kid you didn't realize that was an anime.
That's how
Pokemon,
people got into it.
Dragon Ball Z, like those are animes, but people don't know that because they're like it was just a
So
cartoon.
are we
growing up.
counting Pokemon? Because I watched Pokemon.
Pokemon is an anime.
I did
Yeah.
Pokemon. I did Digimon. I did
That's also an
Yu-Gi-Oh.
anime.
Those are
Those are
technically
animes,
anime.
yeah.
See, I was on the same thing. I used to hate anime, actually. I used to be
Is
an
Yu-Gi-Oh
anime.
an anime?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah. I used to be an anime hater, though. And I probably, for the same reason as you, is I didn't have cable and I didn't get into it as a
Yeah.
kid. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not watching this shit. And my friend Noah, shout out to Noah, he's here with me.
What up, Noah?
And he was like, nah, bro, you should watch this. You should watch this. And my other friend was like, all my friends were like, yo, you should watch this. I'm like, yo, I'm not watching that lame shit. Like, that's not, I'm not watching it.
You're one of
I
those.
got other friends that
You were
tried
one of
too.
those, huh?
I was one of those.
That
I was
lame
like,
shit.
I
That
was
shit
like,
for
I'm
lames.
not watching it, bro.
Yeah.
And then one day, I was at the crib and I couldn't find nothing on Netflix. And I was like, and you know how when you look at something too long on Netflix, it'll just start?
Yeah.
So I was just scrolling through and I had like stopped on Naruto because they
What's
were telling me
crazy
to
is
watch
that that's a
Naruto.
new feature. Like Netflix didn't always have that feature. That feature is crazy, but it's fucking brilliant on their
Yeah.
part.
It's very
because
smart.
if you just
It's
leave it
very
sitting,
smart.
it will literally start playing, and then you're just
Exactly.
like, well, I guess I might as well fucking finish. Like saw the
Right.
first 5 minutes of this shit.
And
like,
I was sitting on it and it started and I was like, they keep telling me to
Here we
watch
go.
it. I trust them. They're my close. They know what I like. So I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. And I was like, all right, it's just kind of trash. And then I got to like episode Land of Waves is episode 4 Naruto, right? Something like that.
bro, we talked. I don't know episodes either.
I believe
the arc,
it was
you talking about when
relatively
they go
early.
to fight Kisame.
Or no, Zabuza.
I mean Zabuza. Yeah.
When
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw Zabuza with that big ass sword and he was getting it popping, I was like, yo, this is lit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm rocking with this. And that is how I got into it. So I do think you should give it. Coming from a past anime hater, I was with you at one point. I think you should give it a shot. You might end up liking it.
Fair enough. But you enjoy all of like the comic book movies, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you kind of mentioned it before, but you've seen pretty much all the Marvel movies.
I've seen every Marvel movie.
Okay.
Every single
So
Marvel
all the ones in the MCU.
Yeah, all the
seen all of
MCU,
those.
even the ones not in the MCU, you know, like the, or no,
Like
wait.
X-Men.
X-Men, I've watched all the
Sam
X-Men
Raimi,
movies.
Spider-Man, like the original 3 Spider-Man.
all
movies,
those, yeah.
Amazing
I think
Spider-Man.
I've seen every single Marvel super. Ooh, wait, I haven't seen Blade.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Haven't
Don't
seen
worry
Blade.
about it.
That's fine.
Okay,
Don't worry.
cool.
Just we only care about the new one. Fuck
All
that
right,
old
the
one. I
rest
don't
of,
give a
but
shit.
all the other Marvel movies I've seen most of the DC movies. I didn't see Birds of Prey.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, I still want to see it after seeing
No,
the
you
new
don't.
I think
Suicide
it's-
Squad.
It was on HBO Max.
You don't want
I
to see
think
it.
it's still on there.
It's probably
Really, I might check that out because after
It's- yeah, I
watching
mean,
the
it's
new
what you
Suicide
expect it to
Squad,
be.
it made me want to see it though.
It's not on par with it.
It's
Oh,
not.
okay.
It's not. The new Suicide Squad is. Did we really like that movie? We really liked that movie.
We liked
right?
it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But,
I surprisingly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I would say Birds of Prey was better than the original Suicide Squad movie.
He hates the
but
original
I hate
Suicide.
that movie.
He
I actually
fucking
enjoyed
hates
it. I actually
Oh
enjoyed
my
it.
god, I have to
Yeah.
leave. No, joke.
See, like here's the thing. I wasn't
That
like
honestly is an
raving
ongoing
about
joke
it.
that almost every episode when we say something's bad, I'm like, I mean, bad like that first Suicide Squad movie. Like
He
I bring
hates
it
it,
up
bro.
almost every episode.
Well,
hates it.
It was bad, but it was.
I think
it
it's
was
the
aight.
worst superhero movie to date.
I don't agree with that.
The worst.
No. You're forgetting about the new Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan.
That's
that
one
movie
that's
was
close,
terrible.
right?
That
I'll
one
get-
is
that movie is also
terrible.
Trash,
That was
bro.
the worst superhero movie I've ever
And we
seen.
watched the new Hellboy, and that one was also
That was
super
fucking
brutal.
garbage.
I didn't
Did
watch
you see
that.
that?
I
Don't
didn't
see
watch
it.
that.
Don't do it. I've never
We almost
in
left
my
the theater.
life been more compelled to
Whoa.
literally walk out of a theater. So here's the story,
That
bro.
is bad.
The quick story, right? So we went to see it together. We sitting in the theater. He gets up. Did you go to the bathroom or did you take a phone call?
No, I got a phone call.
He got a phone call and walked out of the theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never happens. Like, never fucking happens. We never leave the theater in the middle of the movie,
you feel
right?
me?
This one I did
So
not care. This movie was terrible.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, this shit is fucking awful. This is awful. And I swear it feels like he was gone for like 30 minutes.
I was not gone for that
And
long.
at one point, I was like, did he just fucking leave me? Like, he drove me here. How the fuck am I? Like, I legit.
No, we drove separately.
We did drive separately. That's what it
because
was.
you were thinking about it,
because
yeah.
I was like, did he fucking leave? Like, he
You were
just,
like, I'll bounce too.
he just fucking left. And I'm like, damn, should I just leave? Because, like, this shit's garbage. I'm like, but I gotta see it through. Like, gots to see it through. But I legit thought he left, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave. Like,
Dang.
I thought he left
few
me.
movies for the podcast we go to see, and that was one of them, and that one was brutal.
It was rough, man. It
Man.
got good reviews too, which is insane to
I
me.
hate when bad movies get good reviews. That
Yeah.
pisses me off to no end.
Yeah, it's
Where do you
fucking
guys?
ridiculous.
So I actually have this debate with my friends. With one of my friends, where we get our movie reviews from. Where do you guys get your movie review? Like, what is your trusted movie
Honestly,
review
I try
source?
not to. I
Before
want to
we
form my own opinion.
Yeah, before
so I
we-
avoid it. Like, it's
Before
I
we-
mean, like
Yeah.
afterwards though.
Yeah.
I don't look at reviews beforehand, but afterwards, see, I normally rock with the Rotten Tomatoes reviews.
I
think
honestly avoid
IMDb
those.
does bad reviews personally.
I usually avoid Rotten Tomatoes. I only look at it because it's like it's good to reference on the podcast.
Yeah.
But typically I get my movie reviews from YouTubers
I rock
like
with
Jeremy
that.
Johns,
I rock with that.
or other podcasts.
I feel that.
Like that's how I get my reviews, because critic reviews are always usually drastically different from like
Yes.
audience reviews.
Very true.
And like Rotten Tomatoes it's all over the place.
IGN is the worst movie reviews ever, by the way.
Yeah, I get that.
I like
get that.
IGN as a brand.
Right.
Worst movie
You don't like the reviews? I mean, well, speaking of fucking bad reviews and movies and stuff, perfect segue into our topic for the day, which
Let's do it.
is Eternals. We're going to be
Let's
talking about
do
the
it.
Eternals movie. You saw it.
fresh
I
in my
saw
mind.
it.
Saw it
You
yesterday.
saw it. I
Yeah.
saw it 2 days ago. When did you see it? Sunday?
Sunday.
And you saw it yesterday?
Saw it
So yeah,
yesterday.
it's fresh for you.
Yeah, it's fresh.
It's good. It's
Um,
good. Sunday feels like a long time.
Yeah, I get that. We usually it's funny because like some of these movies we review, we go into it and we're like, we both look at each other and we're like, do you have much to say? I'm like, nah, I don't have much to say. Do you have much to say? Nah. Then we talk
And
for
then
an
it is-
hour and a
yeah.
half. So it's like, I guess we have more to say
feel that.
than we thought.
I feel that.
We're like, this is gonna be a quick episode, and then it's like an hour and a half. So we're like, oh shit, okay. But yeah, man. So the early reviews of this movie were fucking terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
I avoided them, but it was hard. I avoided like the actually looking at the reviews, but it was hard to avoid all of the news coverage that was saying the reviews are really bad.
Right.
TikTok was what was messing me up.
Yeah.
I kept hearing people talking about the bad reviews.
That's
on
what
it.
happens to me.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I try to avoid some shit, TikTok, boom,
Yeah.
just puts it right in my face.
So I knew it was getting bad reviews, but I didn't know why. Before we dive into the bad reviews, though, I just want to know everybody's overall thoughts, what they thought about the movie.
Okay.
So your guess, we'll let you start.
I kind of want to go last. 'Cause
Okay.
I feel like I may have a different opinion than you guys.
All
on
right,
this.
Sean, you go first then.
I'm getting.
let me
I
hear what
feel
you
like I
think.
have a different opinion.
You know what? Overall, I liked it.
Overall, I loved it.
Okay, I'm with you guys. I
All
thought
right.
you guys were gonna
No,
hate it. I
I
thought you
love
guys
it.
were
I'll tell
gonna
you,
hate
if I had to
it.
complain about something, there's some parts that are a little slow.
I agree.
But
I agree.
overall, I enjoyed that movie.
You know what's
cool.
crazy?
I thought
It was the slow parts that really made me like the movie.
Really?
Because I looked at it and I'm like, this part is slow, but I'm still fully engaged in everything that's fucking happening.
Right.
Right. So it was the slow parts. So I'm like, yeah, this is a bit slow. But I'm not, it's not losing my attention at all. I'm not like, can we come on? Like, fucking Batman versus Superman, the slow moments, I hated them. I was like, this shit's boring.
get me
Can we
started
get
on that
to
movie.
some fucking action? But this movie, I was like, no. Because this movie, if we're truly looking at it, had an impossible fucking task, which was, here is a single movie that's not as long as Endgame, which was 3 hours. This movie was 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Right.
Here's almost an Infinity War length movie, but we have 10 characters we have to introduce all in this one movie
Right.
that nobody knows any fucking thing about.
Right.
It's not like Civil War where they introduced Spider-Man and Black Panther. You didn't introduce us to the character of Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Right.
You just introduced them into the existing universe, right? This was like, we don't know who these people are. nobody knows you. And it's funny because you were like, I don't know much about the Eternals. Bro,
Right.
nobody knows anything about the Eternals.
Right.
Like, that's the thing about it. And they had to introduce 10 characters in one movie. And I felt like, and that's what a lot of the reviews were complaining about, but I feel like they did a great job.
I agree. And I said this to my homie Noah after we finished the movie. While I do love the MCU and I love the MCU movies, because I do have comic book knowledge, there are certain things that do disappoint me because I'm like, man, I really like this about this character and they didn't do it like this. Like, I feel like in the Black Panther movie, I feel like he's not as savage as he normally is in the comics.
We could go on forever about that because I feel the exact same way. And that's why when you asked me who my favorite superheroes were, I specifically said comic book Black Panther.
Exactly.
Because he's different.
He's like, yo, you pulled up to Wakanda, now we have issues.
You will die.
No,
yeah,
exactly.
Straight up. Like,
and that's what
there
I like
is a
about
comic that's literally titled See Wakanda and Die. And you see him holding the heads
Yep.
of like decapitated scrolls.
I love
I
that.
digress.
I feel that.
So,
And that's why I like Eternals,
Yeah.
because I didn't have anything to compare to because
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the Eternals. And there wasn't really predictability in here.
it wasn't.
And that was one thing I liked about it. I was not expecting Icarus to be on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to guess it maybe like moments before it
Right,
happened,
yeah.
but I didn't I wasn't watching the start of the movie like, all right, well, this dude's going to be evil.
He's going to be evil.
It completely,
I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah, it
You're
caught
pretty-
me off
and
guard.
And you know what? With because at the beginning, I was thinking, oh man, we're gonna have like a deviant be like the big bad at the end, and I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know if that's exactly what I want. And then
was
we
thinking
didn't
the
get that,
same
and I was
thing.
like, we got it, but we also got, and I was like, all right, this made it so much better. To me.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
I was thinking the same. I was like, here's a movie where the bad guys are just mindless evil.
Right.
You know, I was like, it's literally just going to be, okay, we need to get stronger than these things. There's not going to be
Right.
any internal conflict. And we got it. And I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
wasn't expecting this at all.
It was good. And you know, I feel like a lot of people who had problems with this movie went into it thinking it was going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy, because the Guardians of the Galaxy did something similar in the sense of like, here was a comic book team. Now, admittedly, the Guardians of the Galaxy has more comic book history than the Eternals do,
Right.
but still relatively unknown, right? And they took this weird ass group of characters, like a talking tree and a raccoon, right? And they made people love them in one movie. They gave us this sprawling space epic where we got to see these beautiful landscapes and new environments and all these crazy aliens and like blazing soundtrack, right? And like it was straight up a hit. And I feel like people went into this expecting something similar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so drastically different.
Right.
Like, I feel like overall this movie, I feel like it's more mature than any Marvel movie we've had so far.
I agree.
There are
at
some
least
really,
as of late.
yeah, there's some really mature moments in this. Like, there's a sex scene in this movie. There is a sex scene in a Disney Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I mean, it's a very mild sex scene, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But there are two naked people laying on a beach
Right.
on top of each other. And I was like, this is a fucking sex scene. Are we?
I didn't think anything of it, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
That went right over my head.
Immediately, I was like, this is a sex scene. Like, what's happening? This is a Marvel movie, right? And I think, like, overall, the movie had a bit of a somber tone to it. Like,
I agree.
You know, like it just felt somber. Like, no parts of it really felt like bright, colorful, energetic like Guardians of the Galaxy does. Like, it was more for characters who are so powerful and just so kind of like out of this world. It felt very grounded and just like on a personal level, like what you were mentioning of just like, here's some eternal conflict with each one of these characters. And I mean, of course, you know, they threw in different diversity things, and I know a lot of people were complaining about that, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, overall, like I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I really did.
I enjoyed it more.
I wish one of us didn't.
Yeah, I know.
We
to
could
make
debate more.
Make it more interesting.
I thought
But
I
it's
was
cool,
going to be
though.
here having to try to debate both of you guys because
Nah.
I was like, yo, this was better than I expected.
Yeah.
And it kind of, to me, so Marvel as of late the Marvel movies more or less feel like a caricature of themselves.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I feel like this feels kind of how Marvel movies felt at the beginning of the
Yeah,
MCU.
I get that.
It starts
Like
to
the Iron Man
this feels
1, the
more like
Captain America
Iron Man
1, yeah.
Thor's. This feels more like that, where it's like, we don't know a ton about these people.
Nope.
And it also has more or less adult themes. Because Infinity War and the newer Marvel movies, they're made to make toys. They're made so kids can want to wear them as their Halloween costumes. You know, like things like Professor Hulk giving out tacos. You know, like that's what they're made for. And this felt a little bit more like, yo, we're gonna give you guys some real content to think about, to feel, to even go home and talk about, like the morality of, did they make the right decision?
Right.
That is something that you actually have to sit down and really think about. What do you guys think, by the way?
It's hard, man.
I'm on the fence.
I almost think they made the wrong decision, which feels messed up, that they should have, like, everybody on Earth should have died, but like billions upon
you mean
billions.
like the decision at the end?
The decision to kill
the Celestial?
Yeah, I don't remember his specific name.
Yeah.
But yeah, to kill him in order to save Earth, because without him, billions are gonna die later down the line.
Never be created,
So they did that to save the Earth, but in the long run, they probably end up killing more people that way.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's definitely a tough
I was
dilemma.
wondering if it is the Celestial dead, or can she bring the Celestial back? Because in the beginning of the movie, they're talking about they just want to put him to sleep. They didn't want to kill him.
It looks like she
And
just
then they
ultimately
turned him-
froze him.
Yeah.
That's what it seems
And then they
like
said
to me.
stone at
Yeah,
one
it
point.
was
Because at first I
stone.
thought it was freezing them, but then they
We
said
thought it was
stone.
ice too. Yeah, it's stone.
She unstoned him.
I'd imagine that she could. If I had to guess,
Yeah.
I'd say that she could. We jumped way ahead though. We went right to the end. You guys,
My bad.
you're good. We were on it.
I literally always tell my co-host, like, yo, let's slow down.
Let's
like,
pull
take
it
it one time
way
at a time.
So
back.
that's the credit scene. I was just
Yeah.
Right.
So a smaller thing in the movie, right? Did you find the DC references weird? That shit was weird
That was
to me.
insane.
It was weird.
That was so insane.
Bro, I was like, what are they doing? It was two of them.
But listen,
wait, two? I only caught one.
That character's pretty much Superman.
So the
I like
first
that
one,
they acknowledged it.
the first one is when Amal Nagiani's character, what's his name?
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Starts with a K.
Amal Nagiani.
I can't
These names
remember,
are gonna be
but
brutal
yeah.
with me.
They are
so.
going to be tough. The names are going to be tough to
The
remember.
only one I can remember so well is Sprite, because I was like the soda? Is that
Yeah.
what they're saying right now?
The shooty guy.
Yeah,
The one who can
the
shoot.
Sprite thing threw me off at first.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So the one who could shoot fireballs or whatever, shoot things out of his hand.
Yeah.
The
right?
gun ends.
Yeah. When he brings his assistant along,
Alfred.
Gilgamesh, which I remember his name because he was one of my faves.
Oh, you're right.
He says,
You're
he's
right.
like, "Who is this? Like the Alfred to your Batman?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? What?"
I caught that, but for some reason they didn't like register to me. Yeah,
Dude, it hit me right. I was like,
couldn't-
"What?"
They couldn't say Jarvis to, Iron Man.
I mean, I
'cause
guess
they
they
didn't really
couldn't,
do it.
but I was like, "Wait, what?"
Nobody would get it.
And then, Icarus pulls up on
Hey, it's Superman.
Faso's kid, and he's like, "Oh, it's Superman," and he's like, "What?"
I was sitting
And
in
he's
the
like,
theater can they do that?
That's what I'm saying. He was like, you had a cape and you were shooting lasers from
There
your
was
eyes. And I'm
also,
like, that is
the
fucking
book-
Superman,
the
but
book that he reads as a Star Wars book. Did you notice that?
that's different. That's Disney.
I'm
But like
just
the
saying that.
I get it though. They always do that shit. But the DC references, I was like, it was so blatant too.
Can they do that?
I was wondering that too. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Who okayed this? Because it wasn't even like a subtle one. It was flat
He
out
said, "Yo, you're
in
Superman."
your face. Yeah,
I
it was like,
"Whoa."
you're the Alfred to his Batman. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
That's actually crazy.
So that was super weird to me.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah,
I wonder what the
I had to mention that.
laws are with that. Like,
I don't know.
Obviously, I know they didn't break any laws because
To
it's
me,
Marvel.
it
but
just felt like a big
feel
F
like
you
why
to
would-
DC.
basically
Marvel
saying,
was just like, fuck you, we can
where
do whatever
were
we
you?
want
You
now.
guys are
Like,
fake.
yeah. What are you gonna do? You're gonna stop us from making money? You're not. Like, calm
No,
down.
I mean, if I was DC, why would I care? I'd be like, mention my characters more.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
I
that's a
feel
good
that. I
point
feel
too. It can be hit or miss, man. So this movie had a $200 million budget, right?
Okay.
So to put it into perspective, Infinity War had a $316 million budget.
Okay.
Endgame was about $500 million.
Jesus.
Right? So bringing it back to Infinity War, we had a total of 14 characters, I think, something like that, 14, 15 characters.
Yeah, I've never counted them out. But sure, that
It's
sounds
something.
good.
I was about to say, sounds about right.
It's something in that range, right? $316 million, about a 2-hour, 40-minute long movie. This movie had 10 characters, 2 superhero characters, plus a deviant, 2 Celestials, a $200 million budget, but goddamn if there weren't moments where it felt like it was way less than that. The CGI in this movie was a bit fucking wonky at times.
Yo.
I'm like, what is happening?
There were some
Is this a Marvel movie?
crazy CGI moments where I was looking at it like, wait, did I animate this?
Yeah, dude. I'm like,
like, what is going on?
I
here?
gave y'all all those numbers just so you like, because in my head I'm like, what was the budget of this movie? Why does it feel like they only gave them $80 million, which is the budget they gave Ryan Reynolds for Deadpool? Like,
Deadpool looked better than this.
I'm like, what's happening? There were certain, like, some of it looked great.
They had to do a lot of CGI in this movie.
They did, but some of it is like the scene where she's talking to the Celestials, like that's just a green screen room. You know what I mean? Like it's just his face with eyes, and it's not even detailed in the face. But there's like a couple times where they're like flipping or like doing, and I'm just like, that looks like a fucking rubber person.
I don't know if you guys caught this. There was a point in time where Phasos was talking to what's the main girl's name who can
Cersei's.
He was talking to Cersei's. His back was turned and he was facing her, right? Mm-hmm. The camera was at him, so you could see his mouth. His mouth did not move, and they dubbed in his voice.
That's crazy.
I didn't catch it.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but I was watching like, what is this? Like, why did they not reshoot this scene?
Yeah, it was
like,
weird.
Why was this not reshot? That was ridiculous to me, and I don't want to jump to the end, but the animation on the end credit scene was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was.
That was the worst thing ever.
It was a bit all over the place, man. So between the weird CGI and like the deviants in terms of like design, to me were like quite a bit of a disappointment, right? They were
pretty
just
basic.
They just seemed like generic fucking. They were just animals. Like that's what they were. Other than like the main one, who
it's kind of what they are in the comics, though, aren't they?
No, they're quite. So I don't know if you know this, but to put this in perspective, Thanos is a deviant.
He's a mutant deviant, though.
Nah, he's a deviant. That's what he is.
I just saw like a bunch of deviant pictures, and they look
Deviants
just like
are
the things we
mutants.
saw.
So from what I
They're
know
different.
about deviants, is he a deviant or he was born to look like a deviant? That's what. So from what I thought was, Thanos and his family are Titans, and he was born with like whatever type of deformation that makes him look like one. I don't think he actually. At least that's what I thought. I could be wrong. Obviously,
I thought
y'all the common guys.
I mean, we could be wrong too. We like to pretend like we know a lot, but
we just say with confidence.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. That's all it is.
I feel that. We do that on our podcast.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought that he was a deviant who was like adopted by a Titan family.
So I thought he was. I'm pretty sure he was born of them, and he just looked like them, and everybody outcast him. Kind of like they were like, "Yo, bro," because they defeated all of them, and they were like, "Yo, why your son look like that, bro? Like this dude looks mad evil. We gotta get him up out of here."
You could be right.
And he was like, yeah, but he was supposed to just be like everybody else. That's what I saw. I could be wrong though. I think I saw that in like a YouTube video or something.
I mean,
see, the thing is,
you could be right.
I'm pretty sure the comic book and the MCU are different.
That's also true.
That's also because the end credit scene.
Yeah. So in the comic books, the deviants, I don't know, maybe in the early ones they looked like animals, but in the later Eternals comic books, they kind of look like animals, but more like humanoid animals, right? Like these were just straight up like giant wolves and
it was just
leopards and shit. Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like they look more like a deformed human.
He's an internal deviant. So I'm pretty sure he was an internal originally that somehow got deviant DNA, and he's from Titan.
Okay, that's
why he's
got
Titan.
Okay. So yeah, I didn't like the designs of the deviants. Like in the comic books, they're more humanoid. They look more like a mutant human animal, not just a giant wolf from Twilight. You know what I mean? Like,
Giant wolf from Twilight.
That's what they look like. They
just
without
Twilight,
fur and skin.
But you haven't seen Star Wars. Is that what you're telling me right now?
I haven't seen Twilight either.
Listen to me.
Which is correct. That is the correct answer. You should
Twilight came out when I was in high school, and I had a girlfriend.
I don't care what you had in high school.
I feel like there's no more explanation than that.
No, I feel that.
You know what I mean? Like I was in a relationship.
I watched TV shows with my girlfriend that I would never watch on my own.
It was just
I'm just giving it a shit.
It was just a part of it. I was in high school. I was a teenager. I was watching whatever the fuck I needed to watch.
That's what a deviant looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they look more like humans. So I didn't like the final form of that one. The main deviant is more in line with what they look like in the comic books, and I guess they just didn't have the budget to make them all look like that. So that was a bit disappointing too. But yeah, I was just like,
Here was one thing that confused me about the deviants.
Mm-hmm.
So, the main Celestial,
yeah,
Aramesh or something like that was his name.
yeah. These names, man, they're tough.
Yeah, a lot of names.
Let's go with that. Let's go with what you just said.
I think that was his name. He said that he put the deviants on there to get rid of the predators, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then he lost control of them.
Yeah.
Why did
Because
he?
they kept evolving.
Yeah, because they kept evolving.
Yeah.
Why did he keep putting them on future planets then? That's what confused me. Because he said he lost control of them, but then he continuously would move the Eternals and the Deviants.
Yeah.
Why did he keep putting
It
them
seems
there?
lazy on his part.
Yeah, like
right?
I don't get why he kept putting more there.
So maybe we're speculating a bit. So if I had to give you an answer, I would say, even though he understood the flaws of the deviants, he still needed them in order, because the ultimate goal, his goal in creating the deviants was his original goal was to eliminate the predators that would stop the population from evolving.
Right.
But then they became the apex predators and they feasted on them or whatever. I think when he created the Eternals, in order to keep them in line, he needed to give them a purpose. And without the deviants, they wouldn't have a purpose. So then he just have like these all powerful beings, like
True.
for no fucking reason.
And now that I'm thinking about it, plus the conflict was helping the humans grow, because if you don't have anything to go against, then I don't need to make a new tool if I don't have a reason for the tool. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I didn't really think
so it's a bit different in the comic books. But it's along the same lines.
Okay.
Like in the comic books, he created the Eternals from humans.
Okay.
Like he basically took like Neanderthals and kind of like spliced them and created the Eternals.
Okay.
These all powerful beings and that's why they all look like humans.
Right.
Versus in the movie, they just made it seem like he just had like a Eternals manufacturing plant.
Yeah, right.
And he was just like whipping the bitches up on a conveyor belt, you know what I mean? And just like, you look like this.
Santa's elves was like,
yeah,
here you go.
Piecing them together. So it was a bit different. And the deviants were a little different too. Like, again, similarly, they evolved quicker than he realized. But in the comic books, they actually took over at one point, and the Celestials came back and took them out.
Got it.
And then he left, like he created 100 Eternals, but then he created the Deviants, but the Deviants bred, and they made they said in the comics they bred like rabbits, like they were fucking in it, right? So it easily went from like 10 to 100 to 1,000 to 1,000,000,
right?
Like, so they were vastly outnumbered, so much so that like even though they couldn't die, they couldn't win either,
right?
Like the Deviants even like captured some of the Eternals and was like doing tests on them, and they were brilliant too. That was the other thing. They were right off the bat like super intelligent, and they took over humanity, and like they were more advanced. So they eventually had to have the Celestials come back and basically wipe all of them out. And then they do the whole memory wipe, and they let the Eternals just kind of stay there in case they ever came back or whatever. So yeah, it's a bit different. But anyway, so even with
I was just reading though, it was created by Jack Kirby.
Yep.
But he based it on his New Gods designs, so he didn't get to finish New Gods in DC.
Yeah.
And then we went back to Marvel. You know who the New Gods are?
I've heard of them.
So Darkseid's a new god. He's probably he's easily the most famous one of all, but there's a bunch of them. But he went to Marvel and kind of wanted to continue what he was doing, so he created the Eternals to be similar to the New Gods.
That's
And
kind
I
of
was
cool.
like, that's really cool.
Yeah, right. I think that's dope. That's raw.
Yeah, man. So despite the weird CGI, I would say I still really like the action. Did you guys like the action in the movie?
I thought it was some pretty good choreography when Phaedos was going up against Icarus.
Yeah, that was good. I like
why
that
did they
just
have
had
that man on the ship the whole time?
I don't know.
Every time they were battling, he was up on the ship.
What's
He
funny
popped
is that
off.
when it first started, I thought to myself, like, what is he gonna do? Like, what
Right.
like, because you're feeling out everybody's powers, and I'm like, they just made him like the smart guy. I'm like, that's
Right.
kind of lame. Does he have a power? But when I saw him do that, I was like, yeah, okay.
Nah, that was an
He
awesome scene.
popped
All right, bro.
off. He was going crazy.
Yeah.
He locked them down. I was like, why has this man been on the ship this
Yeah.
entire
Yep.
time?
I was
He
like,
really
yep.
could have got it done. Yeah. He could have been going up against the
Yeah,
defense.
it was a real Okoye moment when Scarlet Witch came out and she's like, why the hell has she been up there this whole time? Like, what are we doing? Like,
exactly. I was
what's
like,
going on?
He could have got it popping.
Yeah, he
man.
definitely could have.
I
But
think
no,
one of my favorite things of the action scenes is I love seeing everybody's different ability and how it was going to work. Like, I was
100%.
pumped about it. It had that X-Men feel to me, but I
It
was
definitely
like,
did.
I was like, what can this person do? Like,
yeah.
You would like
No,
My Hero Academia.
I did. I like the fight choreography. I thought the action was good, despite the weird CGI. Like, Gilgamesh, probably my favorite. Bro, the scene where he was fighting the one like bull-looking deviant, and he hit him, and then he got back, and he just smacked him in the face. I was like,
goated.
get the fuck, like he literally, he was just like, bro, sit the fuck down,
Boom.
and just smacked his ass,
He
like
was cold.
open palm, bitch smacked him back.
He was
like,
cold.
You the one. You it. Thena, I thought Thena was great. I liked her action scenes. Angelina Jolie overall, I felt I don't care one way or the other really, but I was surprised how underused she was, because when they announced this movie, she was like the big star. She was like the big draw. Like her, Selma Hayek, but like Angelina Jolie, I feel
died
like
so early into the movie.
Yeah,
I was like, man, they killed her already.
I was surprised. So they
We got some flashbacks with
Yeah.
it.
Probably budgeting. I don't know.
I know, right?
Probably couldn't afford that.
We can't afford to pay that whole movie. Speaking of dying, first of all, Gilgamesh died, and I was like, "Fuck this movie," because he was my favorite.
I knew
so I was super
another
upset
one of
about
them
that.
was gonna have to die. Like once they figured out that the deviants were absorbing their powers,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, at least one more of them is gonna have to die.
Right.
I was trying to figure out which one I thought it was. Was not expecting it to be him.
Me neither.
That definitely hurt my feelings.
Because like, he was strength wise, he was the strongest.
Right.
Like he in a fist fight, he'd fuck Icarus up. Like
Hell
he
yeah.
would have.
I think Icarus said that. He said, "You're
Yeah.
stronger than me, but I can fly."
Right. Yeah. Like he knew. So I was like, I guess if they had to kill one, like it had to be him, because
Right.
if not, then the end fight scene.
Smacking him around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just would have been him. Like the only thing he would have had on was flight, so he could have flew, but he probably just would have grabbed them and just
Yeah, every
fucking
time he
been
flew
like,
down. He just
yeah, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like come back here.
I
So-
mean, Angelina Jolie, I think, played her role really well, though.
I think so too. So she was
I
a big.
agree.
A lot of the reviews complained about her character, and they said what I said, which is they felt like she was underutilized. Like I read this one review, and he was saying that like he felt like every movie Angelina Jolie is in, she makes her own, and like she didn't manage to accomplish that in this movie, and he felt like that was a flaw of the movie. But I feel like her character, while it definitely could have been a bit more fleshed out, I feel like they did as much as they could to like get you on board and make it
Right.
believable. You know what I mean?
We have this on my podcast. We have this list of actors that we talk about regularly, and we talk about their ability to make us forget that they are the actor,
Yeah.
and they make us remember that they are the role. Thena was more or less still Angelina Jolie to
I
me
get that.
than the other actors. You know, like
Yeah.
because I watch. I don't know if you guys have watched the TV show Atlanta, but
Yeah, I love Atlanta.
okay,
Yeah.
Paperboy. You know,
Very,
Bezos.
very different.
At first, he was Paperboy to me. By the end of the
Yeah.
movie,
He was
that was
not.
Bezos. You
Yeah,
feel me? Like
he was not. He was very
I
different.
completely forgot about Paperboy.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie. See, yeah, I'm even like we're calling her Angelina Jolie.
And she had the easiest name to remember other than Sprite. It was,
Yeah.
it was Thena. And you just think Athena, but she's like, drop the A. Like,
Exactly.
even I remember that line from
Yeah.
the movie. Yeah.
I don't feel like she did a good enough job to me of making me forget she was Angelina Jolie.
I get that.
That's my opinion, but she also didn't get enough time in the movie to even do that. Because
Yeah.
even when she was on the screen in the movie, half the time she was on the screen, she wasn't even herself because she had the what was it called? The
Something
will
madness
mind
or
something
whatever.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was basically just PTSD.
Yeah,
Like I was just like,
basically.
that's what this is.
Right.
Like you guys are clearly trying to address a lot of things in this movie. This is PTSD. Like
I thought the Deaf Girl was really cool. Speaking of address things.
oh,
that was
amazing.
dope.
Amazing.
That was dope.
So I was like, yeah, this is PTSD. Like that's what you're doing. Like but I liked her character. I liked that she was so strong,
Yeah.
right? I liked her abilities. Like I thought all that was cool.
What was the speedster's name again?
Makara.
Definitely. Oh, good job. I was about to say I do not remember.
I'm pretty sure it's Makara.
Makara. Did you see Straw Hat Goofy's video about her? I don't know if you follow Straw Hat Goofy.
I
on TikTok.
love Straw Hat Goofy.
He's like, how are they gonna do Quicksilver like that?
Oh, I did see that. I did see that.
She popped off her
Quicksilver can't even dodge bullets, and then we got her going.
Yeah, no, that was bogus.
Yeah.
In terms of
She was like
speedsters,
insanely quick.
dude, she was a beast.
crazy.
So
I
speaking of
actually
which,
love that scene when she was like just slamming
Just
him
beating
against
the shit out
mountain
of
and
him?
standing
That was
over
so
feet.
epic.
it was
Oh my
very
gosh, that was
satisfying
fire.
too. Like, yeah, fuck that dude. Like,
I don't rock with him.
beat his ass. Who has your favorite power out of the whole group?
Favorite power?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'm probably going to go with Thena because I'm actually writing my own anime, and I have a character who has a similar power to that.
Nice.
And I think that shit is just so dope.
So it's just like that weapon creation. Just
Yeah,
gotta
that's hard.
Yeah, it is nice. In the comics, she just has those weapons. Like she doesn't.
Oh, so she
actually
carries a
create them.
lot of weapons around?
Yeah.
That
Well,
sounds
mostly
stressful.
just like the staff one. She probably uses that one the most,
okay.
at least from what I've seen, from what I've read.
Right.
The other thing is that like in the comics, she's like brilliant, and they play up the fact that she's a weapons expert. So like in the comic books, she's developing technology for Tony Stark.
That's dope.
Like before they remember who they are and all this other stuff. Like her normal life is she's like a leading weapons expert like in the world. She's working with Tony Stark to like develop tech that he couldn't do himself.
That's cool.
Like she
That's-
developed
that's awesome.
this bomb that like temporarily blinds people.
Okay.
But she's like it works in a way where it doesn't damage your retina at all. What it does is it cuts off the sensory nerve from your eye to your brain.
Okay.
So it just makes your brain think like your eyes just literally aren't there anymore.
Right.
So that like feedback's not
Yeah.
there, and it just does it for like you're blind for like 10 minutes and then your vision's fully restored in like an hour. And he came in and he was like, it took them like my techs were working on this for years and they couldn't figure it out, and you figured it out in 2 months. And she was like, yeah, it wasn't that hard.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
And he was
raw.
just like, oh, okay. And she demonstrated it on herself. So like immediately they already give you like this, she's a badass, right?
Right.
Like she was like, everybody make sure you wear your goggles. Mr. Stark, put your goggles on. And they're like, don't you need goggles? And she was like, nah. And then she just puts the bomb in her face and sets it off. And she's like, I'm good. I'm just blind now for 10 minutes, so don't worry about it.
Damn.
I was like, what the fuck?
She's like, I'm
Nah,
blind.
That's badass.
Yeah.
That's badass.
So she's really cool. Like I like her character, and like reading it like made me like, man, I wish they would have explored that more. But
Right.
I like what they did of like, she's just so dangerous because, and it makes sense, right? Like even before they explain that your memories get erased, even before they explain that like they've been on other planets and done this before,
Right.
just the idea of being alive for thousands, if not millions of years, it would make sense that eventually your memories would start to
Right.
like basically destroy your mind. Like
Just like when your computer reaches capacity.
yeah, like
Right.
you would crush under the weight of all of these memories you have. It's
Right.
just like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And that's what I liked about the character, because even though it wasn't as fleshed out as it could have been, I was like, I completely believe it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but anyway, so Athena's your favorite power.
Yeah.
I'm a guess that you like the speedster the best.
Yeah, I like the speedster
Yeah,
the best.
I
love
get that.
speedsters.
I get that.
Yeah.
I liked her character in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say Gilgamesh, but his power was basically just reinforcement. Like
Yeah.
he
Punching
reinforced his arms and just punched shit.
I also like the shooty power. That was dope.
It was cool. I remember seeing it in the trailer and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. But it worked.
It was cool.
It worked.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
They used it well.
You know what else is crazy? So the first like 10 minutes of the movie, we see the action sequence, and I'm like, that was the trailer. Like they literally only showed us
Yeah.
like the first few minutes,
Yeah.
and like they did a good job with that. I was like, I turned to my girlfriend, I was like, that was the trailer. Like
Right.
I'm like, that means we haven't seen shit else like
Right.
from the trailers. Like we have so much movie to discover. I was super excited.
They did a
about that.
very good job of keeping the movie more or less secret.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I haven't liked about Marvel movies as of late is the trailer is the movie. Like
Yeah.
you're watching it like, all right, well, I kind of know what the fuck is about to
Yeah.
happen here now. This movie, I walked in like, I have no idea.
No
what the
idea.
fuck is
And
about
they
to
did a good
happen.
job. And this one, if anyone would have been the movie to like give us more clips and trailers and stuff, just to get people excited because they don't know what they're coming into.
Right.
But they're just like, no, we're not gonna do that this time. Like,
Marvel doesn't need to do that anymore.
yeah, this was another one of those like weeding out movies of like either you're in it or you're not. You know what I mean? Like if you haven't been invested since the beginning, this ain't the movie for you, and we don't care at this point.
Right.
Like either you in it or you not. You know what I mean? So I like that. Did you guys like the flashbacks? Like them going back and then coming forward again?
I thought it was cool.
Did you mind that?
I thought it was cool. The first one threw me off a little bit because I was like, oh shit. I remember in the middle of it, I was like, oh shit, this is a flashback. Because I was confused at first. For probably
what's going on?
20 seconds, I was like, all right, not really sure what the fuck going on here. But I was like, oh, it's a flashback.
Yeah.
But other than that, I liked them because, and I like that the flashbacks were giving us more insight into what was happening as the movie was going on.
Yeah.
Because it would do this and then be like, oh, let's go back in time and show you why these actions are happening. Why is Icarus acting like this? Why is Selma Hayek doing this? Like all these things. Because you'd be like, oh, wait, why aren't all the Eternals together anymore?
Right.
Boom, flashback.
Would you rather have had it where like basically everything in the past was like maybe like the first half of the movie and then we just went?
I actually think I would have rather that.
You would have rather it all been together as one? Yeah. So
I didn't need to go into these flashbacks. I was like, you could have just put this all in the beginning of the movie.
Talia said that too. My girlfriend said that too. She was like, they should have just did it all at once. See, because I'm with you. I like that they went back and forth.
I'm so tired of movies with flashbacks.
I like doing the detective work
why do I keep
myself,
doing it?
though.
Yeah.
You know, and when you give us all, if they gave
So
us
you
the
like to be
flashbacks
Batman,
at the
that's what you're
first,
saying.
that was good. But like, if they would have given the flashbacks at first, it would have been less for me to figure out. Kind of like what we were talking about with Invincible earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
It's less to figure out when they give it to you at first. I kind of like sitting there and be like,
I didn't feel like there was much of a mystery because it was like they showed something happen and then they immediately went back and explained it.
That is true to an that's
there wasn't like a
partially
time
true.
of like, why was it like that? It was like they're immediately answering your question.
Well, I was kind of trying to figure out certain things like
the only thing that like I feel like obviously they couldn't have done is when they killed Ajax. That's the only flashback that I needed.
Yeah, I get that.
But also just
So-
kind of
Because that was cool to see at the end.
So not as much those flashbacks, but
like
more of
the
like
one,
the
like,
really
real,
back
yeah.
in time. Like
I
we're in
could've had all that in
5000
the
BC.
beginning. I think it would have got me like just as much invested in the characters. And then like would have that last scene where they all decided to break up, and then I'll be like, all right, this is cool. Let's see what happened to all of them after I had this like investment of them being a team.
Some of those flashbacks were really long though.
I agree.
I would say if I had any complaint, that'd be it. Some of them were like real long,
I
and
didn't
like
like
I liked
Icarus.
it, but I'm like, this is long, man. Like you could have shortened this a bit. So I think because of that, if they put it all together at the beginning, by the time we finished that, I would have just been like, that could have been part one of the movie. Like I don't know. I feel like I would have been exhausted by that point. Like just of like, can we get to what the fuck is happening? Like
Icarus and Ceres getting together was really long.
it was. That was the long one. I'm like, this is super long. Like
I was like,
this
yo, I
didn't
don't
need to
care
be
about
as long.
this.
Yeah.
Even
I was
them
like,
hugging was like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like when he was like running his hand down her hand and like that was like 2 minutes. I'm sitting here like, all right, what is going on
why
here?
is this taking so long?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
It was awkward too, wasn't it?
Very.
It was, and I guess if I'm thinking about this now, in the moment, I'm like, this is awkward. But if I'm thinking about it now, they were completely unfamiliar with like who they were and like what a romantic relationship was, I guess. So maybe they were kind of figuring out, like they were basically kind of like teenagers figuring out love for the first time. So I guess if you look at it that
for
way,
the first time of humans, but like even like primitive humans. Too.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And a teenager figuring out love definitely hugs faster than 2 minutes.
I mean, that's true. That's
promise you
they
that
do a
one.
lot of things faster than 2 minutes. So yeah, I get that. But I mean, I liked it. My favorite part is like when they do flashbacks into like history like that. I love seeing them intertwine like origin stories and stuff of superheroes into like history. I think that's the coolest fucking thing ever.
That is
right?
cool.
So like when they were like, she was like, his name's Icarus, and he's like, oh, the boy who flew too close to the sun. And she's like, well, Sprite came up with that story a long time ago, and
That's cool.
it was. I'm like, that's fucking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Sprite was a storyteller, and like she liked to do shit. Like I'm like, that's cool as hell. And like, there's a scene where Thena is holding a sword, And he's like, is that the ebony blade? Which we find out later it's not, right?
Yeah.
She's like, no, it's Excalibur.
Yeah.
She's like, Arthur always did have a crush on you. I was like, that's cool as
That's
shit to
dope.
me. You
I
know what I
rock
mean?
with
Like,
that.
I love stuff like that. I love seeing it like, okay, that's cool. You're using like superhero nonfiction. Nonfiction is the real one or the fake one?
What? Nonfiction is
Nonfiction.
real life.
It's real life,
Yeah.
right? So you're using superhero fiction to like explain nonfiction, and I think that's super fucking
like
cool,
why
right?
the world is
Yeah.
what it is, and
So-
like because it kind of wants to tie it into the real world a little bit,
Right.
And that's the way of doing it. Like, oh wait, why do we know nothing about superheroes? Oh well, they've been here.
Yeah,
We just didn't know they were here.
exactly. Yeah. So I like that. And they're like, oh yeah, they used to call us. They've called them different gods, and it's like that in the comic books too. Like as they've shown their abilities and helped humans evolve, like certain humans like accepted them as gods, and it's like they're not really like these are the gods of legend, but there's like they're still walking people today. Like that's
dope.
I think that's super cool. So let's get to the elephant in the room, kinda, which would be the diversity of this movie, which some people have complained about. I've heard different things about it, but we had people of all different races, ethnicities, right?
Right.
We had deaf representation. We had LGBTQ representation. We probably had the most representation of any superhero movie thus far.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So to put it into perspective, in the comic books, they are pretty much all white men, mostly white men and women, right? Like they've changed. They not only changed like races in this movie, but genders as well. Like Sprite in the comic books is a boy.
Okay.
The Speedster, a man in the comic books.
Okay.
Ajax, a man in the comic books. Like
You saying they're all white?
they're all white. Like
Makes sense.
yeah. Like Sprite is a orange-haired white kid. He's probably Irish, I guess. I don't know.
It's an Eternal.
He is an Eternal. You're right. But he's like an 11-year-old boy in the comic book. So like, not only did they change race, but they changed gender in a lot of. And like I said, some people have complained about this. Primarily, I've heard people complain about the LGBT, stuff going on. Which I'm like, really, like, get over that shit at this point. You know what I mean? Like, why is this a complaint? Like, I don't know. What did you think?
I mean, that's one of the things we liked going into the movie was the diversity of this.
That was why, like, I put this, when we looked at the movies coming out this year, I put this as probably at the top of my list for Marvel movies because of the diversity of the cast. I was super fucking excited. And I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was all about it. I generally, we talked about this. We had a whole episode about this before. I think more representation in the movies is great.
Representation is very important when it comes to movies and film altogether because it shows people of all different types, especially for like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to kids or whatever, it shows that anybody can really be a superhero. There are superheroes that look like you. There are superheroes that are like you, or if you're deaf, it shows that anyone can really be a superhero. And the reason why I really like the representation in this movie is, for me, and I feel like for the majority of people, we don't know the Eternals. So this is actually I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion of mine, but people say that you can more or less change the race of a lot of characters and stuff because it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. So to me, to an extent, I'm not always crazy about that.
I get that. I'm the same way. Yeah.
To an extent, these characters are people.
Yeah.
Like while Bruce Wayne isn't a real person, he kind of is more or less, and he has an identity. So if in a movie they made Bruce Wayne black, I wouldn't be a fan of that.
Yeah, I get that.
So I like that they did it in a movie like Eternals because now it's like, oh, yes.
We don't know anything about these people.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, technically they're all aliens. So they could be whatever the fuck we want them to be.
That's why I think that shit is so dope. Like, I would be mad if they made Black Panther white. I'd be like, yo, what the fuck
of course.
This?
So, and we've talked about this before, but if race is not essential, if it is essential to who the character is, it should never be changed.
Right.
Black Panther should never be white. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
100%.
Right? On the flip side, Magneto should never be black. People have said that they want a black Magneto. No. He was a Jewish Holocaust survivor.
Right.
he is supposed to be a white man.
Right.
That's just what it is,
Exactly.
right? Like, I'm not mad about that. I don't care about, he's not represent. He's a Jewish Holocaust. Like, what about that representation? Like, leave the shit alone, right? And then the other argument is, a lot of the times there are comic book versions of different races of these very popular characters. So some people are now arguing like, well, why don't we just use that version? We don't need to make Clark Kent Superman black. We just use the black Superman that's been used in comics already, right? So I'm more of a fan of that.
That's the side I'm on. Instead of taking characters who are already made and making them other races, I like when they just make new characters. Because to me, that feels kind of lame.
Yeah.
If we have a hero that's been white all this time and you just take him and make him black or make him Asian, to me, that's kind of cheap because they still are that character and now they're just a different color. Let's make a new one, you know? And that's why I feel like the Eternals were more or less good for that. While the Eternals aren't new, because they're so unpopular and people don't really know them, they're more or less a blank slate.
Yeah.
You know? So
definitely.
They might as well be new. You know, like if they came out and just made a hero that we all know already, a different race, then it's like, all right, well, like, let's make some new ones. Like, that's a possibility. It's more fun and it works better for me. That's what I like. I don't like it when they just switch the race of ones that are already made because it feels cheap and it feels lazy. It's like, ooh, we're not going to give you guys your own character. We're just going to give you ours and repaint it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're done playing with this toy now. So let's paint it a different color and give it to you.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like it. It's like, okay, we don't really care about this one. We'll make them Asian and now you guys can have them.
Yeah.
No, that's not cool enough for me. Let's make a brand new one and make him cool in his own way. And the Eternals were more or less that because people don't really know the Eternals. So
that's true.
They might as well be a new hero. That's how I feel.
We got our first, not only did we get our first openly gay couple in Marvel, we've had bisexual characters. Like, they've come out and said it. Like, Tessa Thompson said that Valkyrie is bisexual. Like, we've had that admitted.
Okay.
No, she's bisexual.
But Loki's bisexual.
Loki is also bisexual, but Valkyrie is bisexual because when that happened with Loki, people were like, it's not the first one. It's just the first one that they openly said it.
Yeah.
See, I don't like it when they just say things. Show it
I get
to
that.
us.
Yeah, I
like,
get that.
show it to
Yeah.
us because that it doesn't count
Yeah,
if you
I
just
get that.
say it because that's not true representation because a child isn't going to go into the movie theaters and then leave and then read all these blogs and be like, oh,
Right.
that
That's
character.
a good point.
Like, show
Right.
it to us. So the kid can go into the theater and be like, oh, this character.
Yeah.
And you feel me? Like, that's real representation. It's not real representation when you show them straight the entire movie, more or less.
Yeah.
And then they're like, actually, they were. Like, I like in this movie because they showed
They
it
went
to
full
us.
force. Like, we got a gay kiss. Like,
Exactly.
it was two men. They had a child, adopted
A
child.
house.
Like,
Yep.
it was a fucking
A dope
family.
house, too.
Yeah.
It was a nice house with the IKEA table. I love that scene. It's funny because I remember seeing that scene in the trailer, and I thought like, it's not gonna hit for the same in the movie.
Right.
But they took the cursing out of it, and I was like, that added curse word, it definitely helped. I was like, it made it funny again.
No, they
and
hit.
Also the leading up of like, you haven't used your powers or anything? You sure about that? And he's like, And he's like, nah, you've been using your powers,
Right.
man. What is this table? Vibranium? And I'm like, that's funny. How hard do you think it was for, I don't know the actor's name. How hard do you think it was for him to portray that laser beams were coming out of his eyes? Because Paul Bettany in an interview has said that like the scene in Civil War where he has to like, or any scene where he's like shooting the laser beam out of his head, he says it's like one of the hardest things for him to do because he's like, how do you convey that? He's just like, how do you convey that something's coming out of your forehead?
I feel like that's even harder. I feel like the eyes you just kind of like stare. Like
Yeah. Do
intensely.
you go wide eyed or do you just go squinty eyed?
He looked nuts when Salma Hayek had just died and he shot the lasers. That scene was
It's just like
like I didn't know what he was doing there. I laughed. Like, me and my homie, we laughed because we were like, "Yo, what the fuck is this dude doing?"
That's funny.
It's crazy you said that because I remember being like, "That was some weird acting."
Yeah, it apparently is really hard to do, but the diversity was good, man.
I liked it.
The Deaf Girl was one of my favorite characters. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
and at no point did it bother me that she was signing. Like,
Right.
I liked all of it. I liked to have like, I even liked how they went the extra step and was like, because she's so fast, she can like everything is slow to her, so she can feel vibrations.
Right.
And she can read lips like no problem. She's like,
I like that.
I can hear you. Like you think I can, like I can
so cool.
hear you. She
That was
told
so
the
cool.
thieves like, I can hear you, just so you know. Like,
Yeah.
I feel these vibrations to the point where like I can basically hear.
Like I'm
what
not
you're
lesser
saying.
than. Like
Yeah,
I may
exactly.
not be able to do the same things, but I still know everything.
Yeah.
Like you can't trick me just
Right.
because you feel that I don't have the same abilities that you guys have.
Right. Yeah. So I loved it. And I mean, like some of the stuff was pretty on the head in terms of like the whole like diversity inclusion thing and just being like, this is clearly more of like a movie that they bring like activism and shit into, right?
Yeah.
Because we get the one scene and I was like, that's very on the head. But we get the black girl quoting Martin Luther King saying like, the truth will set you free. And I'm just like, yeah, you guys went for that one, didn't you?
Yeah,
you were just
it.
like, yeah, like fuck it. We just
Right.
because he's like, do you think the other Eternals will accept the truth? And she's like, they have to accept the truth. The truth will set you free. And I'm just
Right.
like, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I mean, you fucking did it. You definitely did it there, man. So
Right.
that was cool. Did you feel that Icarus was the strongest? Because I feel like he wasn't.
Who
They
did you
made
think
him the
was the strongest?
strongest.
Yeah, who do you think is stronger?
I don't know, but like, first of all, so
He was pretty much fighting everybody.
I
super
don't think
speed.
he should have been strong enough to fight all of them.
I don't
at
think he
once.
should. I think that's more so where I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been strong enough to fight all of them.
Yeah, that was kind of
Super speed is a hell of a fucking power, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's a hell of an ability.
OP.
When she was like fucking them, I'm like, she is okay. So now we're in the end. Now we can talk about the big battle at the
Right.
end. She
The
was
guy-
not
the guy
messing
that can
around.
Control minds. What's his name?
Druid,
Druid.
yeah,
Druid?
something like
Yeah.
that.
The fact that Druid can actually control the Eternals, he's the most powerful.
Can he control the Eternals? Did we ever
Because
see
he
him
does
do it?
it to get everybody to do the mind loop. Or the mind connect, whatever they
Well,
call it.
I don't think that was him doing it. I think that was because of the devices that
Yeah, I thought
Wes's-
that's what I
that,
got too.
Bezos
They say
made.
it. Because I was super confused
He
until
was.
they
You
said.
talking about the Celestial? Like he was using his power to try to put the Celestial
to
sleep.
control. He was using his mind control power to get the other two characters to join the mind link.
So you're saying they
Oh,
didn't do
that
that
m-
voluntarily?
They didn't do it voluntarily. He controlled them because they said it. Because at first I was like, "Oh, that man, it's cool." At the last second they joined, and then I forgot what character actually says that he actually went and controlled them to make them join too.
Oh,
Because
okay.
and
must
I
have
like
missed
that
that.
too because up to that point he was completely pointless in that last scene or that last act because he
Right.
thought he was going to be able to do it and he couldn't do it, but I was like, he has to bring something to the table right now.
Right.
Yeah,
He was
realistically,
controlling them
his ability
to
is
join in.
insanely
Okay.
strong because he seemingly had no limit to the number of people he can control.
Yeah.
like a
I
lot
think
of
he said he was going to control the whole world.
yeah, like a
but he
lot
was
of
like, I
mind
didn't.
control people, they have a limit.
Yeah.
and like he seemed like he controlled the whole like city without straining. It was just like easy for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is crazy to think.
He's just
that,
sitting
like,
there, there's enough of this fighting.
yeah, he was just like, I'm stopping this
Yeah,
right now.
because he
Like,
said
fuck
it to them. He was like, I was just going to take over the world.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I decided not to.
He was kind of a dick of a character, but I liked
He
him
was.
though.
Yeah.
I liked him.
He was a
though.
dick, but he was cool.
Yeah, I
like
him.
asshole
because
characters.
he was just like, this is stupid. Like I have the power to fucking stop all of this. This is
Yeah.
stupid. Like, and you guys are stupid for not letting me do it. So
Yeah.
like, fuck you. But like, I should do this. I guess I can't. But this is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like that was his mentality. The whole fucking thing. I like the
like him.
flashback when I'm going back a little bit, but it just made me think about it. Because when they find him, Phastos is next, and he's like, good luck with him. He gave up on humans a long time ago. I liked seeing him in Hiroshima, and that's another
Yeah.
scene where I'm like, yeah, they're really driving home this like.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You didn't like it?
What the fuck did he think they were going to do with a bomb?
I don't know.
Like,
That's
you
a good
feel me?
point.
Like,
Yeah,
he
that's
was
a
sitting
good
there on
point.
his knees crying and like,
Yeah.
oh, like, bro, you gave him, what
You're
did
right.
you think they were going to do with it?
I didn't think about that in that
Like,
moment, but you're
come
right.
on,
Yeah.
bro.
What do you
Yeah.
think he would do?
Like,
with
he
that
was
damn
sitting there
bomb?
like, they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Bro, but you gave them a bomb. What else were they supposed to do with it
Yeah.
aside from blow shit up?
Yeah.
That's what a bomb does, bro.
I wonder if did he make the bomb or did he just feel like he advanced them far enough that they were able to make it? Did they say he actually
See, now
made it?
that would make more sense.
See, because that's what I originally got, but
See-
I could see it going both ways. Though.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he was straight up trying to just give him an engine. Like,
Right.
and she was like, whoa.
Like, chill out.
Let's start with this plow first.
Dude, they haven't even like used hand tools yet. Like, calm down. They don't,
Right.
they don't know what a wheel is. You can't give them an engine. It
giving them
doesn't
a
make any
steam
fucking
Call it a
doesn't make-
steam engine.
yeah,
I actually really like that scene.
That was a cool scene.
It doesn't
I
make
like
any
that
fucking
scene.
sense. And he's like, here's a plow. So when you look at it that way, it from the very beginning, it seems like he was flat out like, I just want to give them this. Like, I want them to use my inventions. So I can see it going either way. I can see him like straight up being like, here's a weapon of mass destruction. Don't use it to kill anybody.
Right.
Use it to keep peace. And then they were just like, nah, bro.
Nah, we're gonna use the
We're gonna use it to kill people.
It's
like,
a
I don't know.
bomb, my G. Like,
Yeah.
what you want me to do?
Just
fam?
hold on to
Yeah.
it. Like, nah. We're gonna blow some shit up. That's
Right.
for sure. But I was shocked that they went there. And I was like, you know what? Again, I respect that you went for it. Like,
Yeah, that's an intense subject to go for.
it is.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I was like, not only that, but it's one of those things where like it paints America in a bad light.
Yeah.
And this is an American movie.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, they just didn't care. They were just like,
Yeah.
no, we're fucking going for it. Let's do it.
Right.
We gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's show all the problems, right? And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was dope.
But yeah, him coming in at the end and fucking locking Icarus down, I was like, I thought the same thing.
That was
I'm like, where the fuck
I'm like, go
have
crazy,
you
bro.
been? And he just kept going. He was like, nah, come back, boss. And then he just like fucking slams him down. I'm like,
Locked him down.
yeah.
He was trying to get out. Nah.
And he stopped his fucking laser beams. And I'm like,
Cold.
how did he, what's
Cold with it.
happening?
Yeah.
And this was after the fast girl beat his ass. So like, he's just like, I don't know what's happening right now.
He was
but
cold
yeah,
with
he
it.
shouldn't
I
have
feel like
been.
even he was surprised. He was
Yeah,
like, "Oh shit!"
He definitely was, because he shouldn't have been strong enough to beat all of them.
Hey, you get that extra
together.
superpowers when you're fighting for your family.
Yeah,
man.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Fuck Sprite.
No, I'm on the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
on the
Sprite.
same thing.
I felt like they forgave her too easily.
They definitely did.
Like,
Yo, that
She
pissed
just
me off
tried to
so
kill
much.
you.
That pissed me off so much because I'm like, what kind of? She said, I got extra power for you and turn you into. No, fuck you.
Yeah.
You don't get anything.
you just stabbed me.
You just tried to end all this shit. Like at the end of the day, at least Icarus really believed in what she
Yeah,
was doing.
yeah.
Sprite was like, well, I'm gonna just do it because Icarus is doing
yeah,
it.
like-
Fuck you.
Yeah,
They were sitting
exactly.
on the curb where they're talking or with her and shit. No, get the fuck out of here. I did not rock with
Yeah,
Sprite
I
at all. I did not rock with Sprite.
If you were eternally youthful, right? How old was she supposed to be? I didn't get that. In the comic books, he's like 11. How old is she supposed to be? How old would you guess she was? Like 13, maybe?
She was definitely a
15?
kid. And she was tweaking. So my homie brought this up to me. She was tweaking because she felt like an adult and she wanted love.
Right.
But there were only, she would look like a kid. So
The
she
human
couldn't-
race does not accept that.
Exactly. And she, she was projecting herself as an adult, but, like
can't
reach over your
touch,
head.
yeah.
Right.
My homie made the argument of there are women her height. Like she could have just made herself
that's a good
look
point.
older
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
still have been short. Like that was still an option for her.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
Like
Yeah.
That's a
she
good
didn't have
point.
to lengthen her fingers. Like when you reach for the table and like went through her hand.
I'm glad you explained that because when I saw it, I was like, I don't get how that just worked. Like, why did he?
It was
But
because she was
yeah,
projecting herself to
yeah.
be bigger than she really was. So
okay,
he was
so
reaching and
it
her
was
hand went through.
yeah,
But
okay.
like she didn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
she
Like,
could have been her.
There were other options.
She
there.
wasn't even that small of a girl. She was like fucking 5'1".
Yeah, like 5'1".
There's 5'1" women.
She could have finessed that.
Yeah, easily.
Like, in the 7,000 years she was on Earth, she never met another 5'1"
Yeah.
woman. Like
That's what's crazy.
I feel like that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But that was something that he brought up to me, and I was like, good point.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, I feel like
But
she
yeah,
could have thought
her
of that.
motivation was just like, I want to grow up. I want to have love. I want to have a family. I'm just like, I mean,
And they gave it to her. I would not have given it to her.
Right?
I'm
I'd have been
or
like,
you-
after all this you just put us through, fuck you.
yeah.
Nah.
All the,
Like
I mean,
she just stabbed her.
yeah.
10
she was
minutes
like,
ago.
She was like, I can give you this power. And in my head, I'm like, are you giving it to her so that she does die at some point? Like, because she straight up tells her like, you will die. Just so you know, like I'm gonna give you
If
this.
it was
but
me, she would have died.
Yeah,
that
you're
second.
gonna
I would have killed her. It would have been over
I was
with.
like, man, that don't make no damn sense.
She
But
tried to just kill them.
yeah, her reasonings, like you said, like Icarus. I didn't agree with him, but I'm like, I
didn't
get
agree
your
with him, but
motivation.
at least he had a goal and he had a reason he was going. She was just like, Icarus is doing it, so I guess I'll do it too. Nah,
Yeah.
that's lame. Like she
Yeah.
loved him, but
Yeah, she loved
didn't
him and she
believe
wanted
it.
to start over, but that confused me too. If she start over, is she gonna get a different body?
I don't know what she.
I was
trying
like,
to
what's
do.
starting over
Yeah.
gonna help you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't get that either. It's funny because when I came out of it, I thought to myself, nah, they just had to get rid of another one. Like, that's why they did that. Like, they just had to, because it was clear to me from the beginning, I'm like, they're getting rid of some of these characters. Like, there's no
Right.
way 10 of them,
Oh,
10 of
yeah.
them came in, but 10 of them are sure
Way
as
too
fuck
many.
not leaving.
Yeah.
It's too many of them. They're like, we got to get rid of some of them. We're going to
100%.
get rid of the strongest one, the two strongest one,
Obviously.
Gilgamesh and Icarus. We're going to get rid of the girl because the truth is, like, she is gonna age in real life,
Yeah.
so they can't keep her looking like that. Right? It's like
Exactly.
this logically will not work.
Yeah.
You're gonna get
CGI
older.
down?
They could, but
They could,
it'd have
but
been a
that's
lot of work and
expensive
effort.
and
Yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah.
Nobody liked her.
Like, we
anyway.
gotta get rid of some of them. Like, it's too many of them.
Yeah.
Icarus killing himself. I forgot all about that part for some reason. What did you
Poetic how
guys-
he flew into
into the sun. I thought
Icarus
that too.
flying
I
into
was
the
like-
sun. That was poetic.
Yeah, I was like, I see what you guys did.
You know, for a second I was sitting there, I was like, does he work like Superman? Is he like trying to recharge or something right now? What is happening?
The red sun.
Yeah.
Get some more energy.
Come back and he's just
Run around
like,
too.
Like, now I'm real pissed. Let me
Yeah.
recharge real quick.
Let's get it.
I'm fucking getting rid of this. You know, it's the Unimind ability. I thought to myself, I'm like, this is weird that they just came up with this. It's in the comics.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in the
And
comics.
it felt very representative of the New Gods because they do that shit too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I didn't
see,
know
I
that.
didn't know
So
that.
that
Remember
makes
they
sense.
do it, if you remember Young Justice. I don't know if you ever watched Young Justice.
Love Young Justice.
great.
Do you remember they all joined and become that one body at one point?
I do remember.
Yes.
It's like right in the same.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Mhm.
I love Young Justice, by the way. Season 4 just started. I don't know if you
Yeah.
knew
Yeah, I've been
You've
watching.
been watching.
I haven't. I need to start it though. What? For real?
Give it some time. Give it some time.
One of my friends told me it was great. It's
Give it some
not-
time.
You know what it is, without really giving anything away? It's
Okay.
all taking place on Mars so far.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge fan of the fact that we're just. I mean, listen, they're tackling some like big issues, and that's cool. Like I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like I want to see what's going on Earth.
Got it.
And I was in there like these Martians are cool, but
Yeah. All we
Okay.
get is the Martians, Miss Martian, Superboy, and Beast Boy. That's it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's it.
and I love so many other characters. So I want to see what's
Yeah.
going
That's
on
the
with
best
them.
part about Young Justice. There's so many heroes.
Yeah, so for them to go from that to just focusing on 3, it's just like,
Okay.
and
can
I don't
see
give a
how
fuck
that would be
about these
frustrating.
But they were
Martians.
like, racism's a big like part of this.
Yeah,
like,
they're
story.
really
That's
just
a lot of the Martian thing.
attacking
the white
racism.
versus the green.
They give like a transgender kind of feel to Miss Martian. They do it in like a really cool way.
Okay.
Like not quite transgender, but like
but like turning
her
into a
changing
human
her
in a
body,
way?
and she's like, "This is the way I actually see my body being," versus like what her body looked like when she was born. And like that's
Right.
cool, but
yeah.
like, but
Because
then
they
like,
tell her, they're like, her mom and her parents, or her sister's like, you don't even take your true alien form anymore. And she's like, this is what I see my true form to be. So like you said,
Got
like
it.
that
Okay.
transgender,
Right.
mindset of like, this is what I'm supposed to be. And this,
Right.
Yeah.
So they're tackling like heavy issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
which
gonna
is
watch
cool.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
all about, but I just want to see what's going on with the other
I
characters.
want to see
Some-
Static. I really
sometimes
wanna
you
see
just
Static.
tune in the superhero shit to see some superheroes be some fucking superheroes. You know what I mean?
say that all
Like,
the look. I love social justice and I rock with that, but I do want to see superheroes fight.
yeah, I
like,
just
like
wanna
we
see
got
some
like there
superheroes.
has
And
to
they,
be a balance.
yeah,
They
there.
do
definitely.
like a flashback fight scene, and they do like they don't actually show you the fight scene. They do like those like freeze clips.
It's like a
and you
comic
can
book
tell what's
panel.
going on. It's
It's
like,
like
come on,
a-
show me the scene at
boom,
least.
I hate
and then it's
that.
frozen, and then it's just like a
That's cheap.
it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
that. You know what? And we talked about that. It seems like they have way less money for this season because the other thing is all the Martians communicate telepathically.
Instead of moving their mouths.
So
Right.
like most of the show, nobody's moving their mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And it also takes a minute to get used to because you're just like seeing it like in spurts, you're like, whatever. But like the whole time, nobody moves their mouth. And you're
Right.
just like, this is weird.
yeah. That's something that I'm always very aware of in anime when they have like characters that cover their mouths and shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
they was trying to save bread.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely were.
Yeah.
Like show Tenta Arms. What's his name?
I call him Dupla Arms. His actual
yeah.
name is Shoji.
Shoji,
but
that's what I thought.
I don't address him by his name because I hate him.
I heard that. It's ridiculous. But yeah, they just kind of covered his mouth for no reason. I'm just
Yeah.
like, why?
Saving bread.
Anyway, Eternals, Icarus
Yeah.
flew into the
Yeah.
sun.
Yeah.
That was fine. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
cool, okay. Yeah, I mean, you fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think he's going to come back? Or you think that's it?
Nah, it's cooked for him.
Yeah, I think that's it for him.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
that-
it's cooked.
Again, I think it's one of those
Literally.
like, we can't. It's just, it's too much. It's
Too many
needs
characters.
to
They're
go.
already a team, and I think it's better if he's killed himself just
Yeah.
because like he was too stuck in his ways, and it wouldn't really make sense if he changed his whole ideals for Ceres.
Mm-hmm.
And he just can't keep fighting against them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was the median there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he was very dead set on.
Yeah, nah, he was like, "This is I'm faithful to the celestial. Like, you can't change my mind."
He was too deep in the turnaround, so I feel like it made sense to get rid of him.
Yeah. So, all right, I guess we get to the after credit scenes now, right?
Worst animation ever. That little troll thing looked terrible.
It did look really
so bad.
bad. Pip the troll. His name's Pip.
I was looking at this like
I had to look that up too because I was like, "Who
It's Pip the troll.
is this character?"
Yeah, I didn't
He's a
know.
teleporter. He's. In
I was
a
like,
lot
"Do I know Marvel?"
he's in line with like Howard the Duck. Like he's
Okay.
along
where
those
people
same.
know him, but he's not like crazy
He's
important.
along those same kind of lines. You know what threw me off besides the animation was the voice, because I knew who he was immediately.
Oh, me too.
Patton
I knew the
Oswalt,
voice, but I couldn't
I
figure
was
out.
like, because he's voicing MODOK in the like
That animated
clay
Hulu.
motion
Okay.
MODOK show on Hulu.
Yeah.
I'm just like, they just really taking this dude's
Like we
voice.
got
and
Marvel
just-
here.
he's
Let's
getting his
go ahead and
bag
use him
up.
over here real
yeah,
quick.
they're taking
his
this
bread.
dude's voice and running with it. But it looks like he's gonna be a bigger character. And then we had fucking Harry Styles, man.
That is
Weird
going to cost a lot of money. But
Casting choice to me. I'm like, really? The One Direction guy? That's what we going for?
Yeah. So I don't know
This
the character
is-
he's playing, but I
Okay.
know that Marvel is pretty on point with their casting. So
They
I
are.
feel like
he's
probably.
If you
is
look at
in
what he
line.
looks like in the comic books, you'd probably be like,
Yeah.
he's
Is the personality
he's
similar?
there. I don't know much about him, to be honest with you.
Because I feel like they do a good job of matching actors with like Robert Downey Jr. You can't think of a better Iron Man.
Yeah.
Same with Benedict Cumberbatch. He was
And
born
Doctor
to play
Strange.
Doctor Strange.
100%.
Like Tom
Yeah.
Holland. You feel me? They're
Yeah.
really good at casting.
No, they're
so
great.
I feel like I don't know enough about the character that Harry Styles is playing, but I feel like it'll end up being perfect.
I think the good part about it is he's in line with the rest of the Eternals of like there's not much on him, so he can kind of do whatever he
build the
wants.
character
You know what I
himself,
mean? But yeah, I just thought interesting
Okay, I can see it working.
choice. Yeah. But he's Thanos' brother. He is
Yeah.
Thanos' brother.
I feel like
in the
there's more on
comic
him
books.
than regular Eternals because he's part of the Avengers.
Yeah. He's been a part.
What's
of
his
it.
name again?
Star Fox, or
Fox,
I
okay.
forgot his real name,
Yeah.
but he goes by Star Fox.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
He like can control pleasure centers of like people's minds, and he does some like messed up things with
Yeah, I
She-Hulk.
can.
He does. Yeah.
I could see that.
He's you're right.
going-
I forgot about that. He's a bit scummy in the comic
Yeah.
books.
Yeah,
honestly,
I could see that going bad.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
old school Marvel comics. Some people do some real messed up things.
Yeah, and they just
Yes,
brush
yes.
over that shit like it never
Yep.
fucking happened.
Yeah,
They're like,
very
we're gonna
true.
bring back this character that nobody knows raped somebody, but whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
We're gonna do what we gotta
Them
do.
old school.
So that
comics
one was
nuts.
like it. Aside from the shockingly awful CGI,
right.
it was just a shocking scene. I was just like, okay,
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
I mean, neither.
Took me I was thrown off by the first character. It took me a second to realize who the Star Fox was. And I was
Right.
like, who is this?
The most exciting part about that scene was him literally saying the words, "I am Thanos," or "brother of Thanos." I'm
Yeah.
like, yep, that's okay, cool.
I thought that was dope.
Yeah, now I'm excited. I'm on board.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with you and your animation,
But
but
you're here.
I'm on board. Let's do it. All right.
Yeah.
And then we had the post-credit scene, the end credit scene, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
We're getting Black Knight in the comics or in the movies.
Yep.
Which admittedly I don't know much
I
about.
don't know shit about that guy.
Yeah.
But
I did a little quick research for this, but still I don't know next to nothing about this character.
apparently what I know is that he's immensely strong. Like he's super fucking strong.
And crazy.
Yeah, and like people have said
See,
that-
but everything's like he's essentially human still though. So he gets power and like abilities from his sword.
Right, from the
and his
ebony
sword
blade.
can cut anything.
That's
Essentially anything. But every time he draws blood with it, there's a curse on it that makes him go slightly crazy whenever he draws blood on it. And apparently at one point Doctor Strange breaks that curse.
Okay.
Oh,
I
that's
don't think it's like that right now.
That
So I
probably
think when he
isn't.
uses
Yeah.
that sword, if he cuts people, he's gonna go slightly crazy.
Right.
And it seems like, so the voice at the end, which I didn't know at first, but I was like, of course, I'm like, whose voice is that? And this is probably the best part to me. That's Blade's voice. The
Right.
character, the
Yeah, I had to
guy
look that
that's,
up.
the guy who's
Yeah.
going to be playing Blade, that's his voice,
Right.
asking him like, hey, you sure about that? And I feel like if they were going to go this dark route of this dude's slowly going insane, the Blade movie is the movie to do it in.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly going
Yeah.
to be bringing in like that, myths and legends of vampires. We're probably going to get some werewolves, some whatever, right? Like that works. I was like, this works.
Yeah.
Also, I thought it was cool the callback of like, this is the Ebony Blade. Like she wasn't holding the Ebony Blade.
I thought that was
before.
cool. That was cool.
I was like, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, the end credit scenes, they got me excited, but at the same time, I'm just like, I feel like it's going to be.
I just walked out scratching my head. I wasn't even excited. I was like,
what's happening?
I thought I knew Marvel.
I walked out like, yo, who is this dude? Dane Whitman? I don't know anything about this guy.
It's like for once I feel like the person I'm always dragging to see these movies with me, and then they walk out like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like I was like, who do I ask my questions to?
I'm like, let me get on Google. And
Yep.
check this
Google
shit
it.
out.
No, it should be.
All right, we're back after that mild interruption.
Let's do it.
Bathroom breaks. That's all right. Things get long over here, man. We drink a lot of water. We stay hydrated. It's
This
important.
is a very big bottle of water.
Yeah, it's important to stay
And
hydrated.
I drank another drink before I got here. I always say that I always have to podcast with a drink. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Throat gets dry, man. You gotta, if you're talking for a living, you gotta be hydrated. It doesn't
And
make any sense not to
on
be.
our podcast, we yell sometimes too.
Yeah.
So we get into some heated
I get
debates
that.
where we're yelling or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I get that. So overall, do you guys think that this movie deserved the bad reviews that it got?
No.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I would probably rate this movie an 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
give it an 8 out of 10.
I think that's pretty solid. I think I go. Yeah, I could do 7, 8. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Does it fall into my top 5 Marvel movies of all time?
No.
Do I think it's in the upper echelon of Marvel movies? No. I think it's a solid, like, high mid tier. You
I
know
agree.
what I mean? Like, it's not like Civil War, Infinity War level, but it's right in line with, like, I would say, like, the first Spider-Man. It's about, like, Homecoming.
Homecoming's a little bit higher for me, but
Yeah.
can I ask you guys your favorite and least favorite Marvel movies?
Yeah. You want to go
Strictly
first?
MCU?
MCU, yes.
It's tough to pick my favorite.
Okay.
I kind of go. Listen, I think Infinity War is a better movie than Endgame, but
Agreed.
that end scene of
I agree.
Endgame just like brought the biggest smile to my face.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I loved that. So I would probably say Endgame.
Endgame. Okay. And least
And
favorite?
Least favorite. Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
He hates that movie.
It's a bad movie.
Yeah. I thought I
It's a bad movie. I agree with you on that. I wouldn't call it the worst, but it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
What about you?
My favorite, I teeter back and forth between, so I agree Infinity War is a better movie than Endgame. But my top, I teeter back and forth between Infinity War and Civil War. Because Civil War for me was just, it was incredible. Like
Yep.
people rant and rave about the Winter Soldier, and I think it's great. But like to me, like Civil War was a better film.
Civil War is my
Like,
favorite Marvel movie.
I fucking love Civil War, dude.
I'm a
We
huge
did,
Black Panther fan, and that's when Black
Yep.
Panther felt like Black
He
Panther.
felt like I
Yeah.
say that all the time. I feel like Black Panther was better represented in that movie than he was in his own movie.
Yeah,
I
I
like
agree.
that representation. That I will not let anyone stop me from accomplishing what I'm here to do, and I'm here to kill somebody.
Right.
Like straight up, you kill my dad, I'm gonna kill him. I don't give a fuck who you
No
are.
one's stopping me.
He's just like an unstoppable force, and I love it.
Yep.
So yeah, Civil War is real up there with, but like I said, it's neck and neck with Infinity War because Infinity War is just like, dude, Thanos is like, man, like
Goated.
it's tough, bro. My least favorite, The Incredible Hulk. Fucking garbage, and people forget that's an MCU film, but it is technically,
Me and
it's fucking trash.
me and my friend just talked about that after seeing Eternals. We were like, people hate the Hulk, but it's good.
It's
I
not.
liked it.
I rewatched it and it was the most boring thing I've. Oh my!
I liked it.
I got a headache watching that movie. It was rough. It was go back and it's rough.
Okay,
bro.
I might have. I haven't rewatched it in a while.
Rewatch it. It's
I
rough.
liked it when I saw it.
I get that, and I liked it when I saw it too. But I've matured significantly since then.
That's true.
And it is rough to watch it.
I think when I saw it, I was probably the last time I saw it was probably in middle school.
Yeah, rewatch
Like
it.
I saw it when it first came out, and then I rewatched it in middle school.
I guarantee you'll hate it now. You'll be
Okay,
like, this
all
is
right.
fucking
I might
garbage.
have to rewatch it then.
You'll have a hard time getting through it. You'll be like, I don't remember it being this trash, but this is
Damn.
brutal.
All right, I might have to rewatch
This
it
is
then.
brutal. What's your least favorite Marvel film?
It's a tie between Thor: The Dark World
Okay.
and Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Both of those were very boring to me.
I get that.
Yeah.
I feel like Captain Marvel gets way more hate than it should, but I understand people's opinion towards
The
it.
thing about Captain Marvel is there was a lot more dialogue than most Marvel movies, in my opinion. I feel like it was a lot of dialogue that I just didn't really care about.
I get that. It wasn't engaging, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't engaged by it, and Thor: The Dark World was just boring as hell. And
It is.
yeah,
That's one of the movies. Rewatching it, it wasn't as bad as I remember.
I think I've rewatched it and I didn't like it.
I still don't like it, but it's
Yeah.
not as bad as I remember, and it's not as bad as everybody says it
I
is.
feel like I don't dislike that movie. I just don't think it's a good movie.
I disliked it. I walked out of the theater like, dang, all right. I guess I just saw this.
It's hard too now to go back because you'll compare it to Ragnarok, and Ragnarok is such a superior film that you'll be like,
Ragnarok is way
yeah, you'll be like, what?
It's
the
one of the few
fuck
trilogies
is
where the
this?
third is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Also-
is rare.
I also don't like and you guys might not like me for this. I don't like the first Captain America movie. That was kind of trash.
I hear a lot of people don't like it. I understand why people don't like it. I just don't agree with it. I think it's a good movie.
It was very boring to me.
That's what I hear. People say it's boring, but
Yeah.
it was exactly what it needed to be a Captain America. Like
Right.
Captain America's first movie, it was spot on. Like they couldn't have done a better job with his first movie.
I get that, but it was just boring. Like, it's the same as Captain Marvel. I get why Captain Marvel was as dialogue based as it was and kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
Thor: The Dark World, I don't get why that was boring. But like Captain Marvel and Captain America, I get it.
Yeah,
No, I just don't like it.
I feel you.
Because
I get that.
I
So
know
this is gonna be an
Captain-
interesting question to ask you.
Okay, let's see.
What's the best superhero trilogy? Who has the best trilogy? Because honestly, in my opinion, it's Captain America.
Let's just make this the close call, man. Let's just make this
We've
our
talked
close
about it
call.
before, though.
We have, but it's interesting to
right.
get another perspective. So we're revisiting one.
Who has the best superhero trilogy?
Because a lot of people will argue it's the Dark Knight trilogy, which we both agree it is not.
Oh, that's in the running?
Yeah, any superhero.
Yeah, it doesn't have
trilogy.
to be Marvel.
So
You
it
can
could
go
be the
anywhere.
Dark Knight. It could be the original Spider-Man trilogy.
This
Okay,
TikTok
then-
actually did really well. I
It
did a
could be
TikTok video about this.
The X-Men
Really?
trilogy.
I was just about to say, I love the original X-Men trilogy.
The original X-Men.
The original
trilogy.
X-Men.
So like
I don't like the
X-Men-
remakes.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking
Like
I
you don't like
respect
First
that.
Class?
No, I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm not
okay.
saying I don't like
I was
them.
about to say.
I like First Class. What came after First Class?
Apocalypse, right?
Ooh, I did not like that one.
Was it Yeah, it was Apocalypse.
No,
was
wasn't there
Dark
one in
Knight.
between? Am I tweaking?
X-Men First Class.
It's First Class.
There was one in between. I feel like.
I thought it was Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, but maybe I'm missing one.
Nah. I do feel like you were missing one too, but I can't think of what it is.
I think it's crazy if they jump from First Class to Apocalypse. I feel
I
like
thought
that's a
it was.
big jump.
No, it was. It was Days of Future Past.
Days of
Future Past. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah.
Then Apocalypse, then Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was a god awful movie.
I didn't see Dark Phoenix.
Don't.
Yeah,
You
don't.
don't want
I
it.
didn't see that. Yeah.
It's not good.
I thought we were giving you a list of movies. Don't see. Don't
Yeah.
see that. Don't see Hellboy.
Don't
Did
do
you see
it.
New Mutants?
Just don't do it to yourself.
No.
Don't see that one
Yep,
either.
that's
Nah.
fucking
I
garbage.
didn't see that.
Don't watch it.
I forgot about that.
It'll be a
actually.
waste of an hour and a half of your time.
Yeah,
that you'll
I
never
probably
get
won't see
back.
those.
You'll just be like, God, what was I thinking?
But I think I'd have to give it to the X-Men trilogy. I love
Interesting.
those. I
That-
really,
I'm
really
surprised.
Like those.
I'm
I
very
love it
surprised.
too. But I thought the third one was bad.
Last Stand?
Last Stand.
It's not good.
Okay, granted, I haven't seen them in my adult life. Or at
Yeah,
least I
you
haven't
should
seen
rewatch
Last
it.
Stand in my adult life. I think the last time I watched Last Stand was probably like 8th grade.
Rewatch it.
Okay.
I don't think you'll.
If
feel
we're
the
talking
same.
MCU best trilogy,
I'm so surprised you went X-Men.
Man,
I
me
respect
too.
that answer, but the Last Stand, I think.
maybe
Even X-Men 1 is like probably not quite as good. Like I still enjoy it for the nostalgia aspect, but it's probably not as good as you remember.
I feel like a lot of it may be nostalgia because
Yeah.
even when I'm
Definitely.
thinking about it right now, I'm thinking about like sitting on my bunk bed watching it with
Yeah.
my
Right.
brother, like
Right.
type of like I'm thinking about that.
That's how I feel about the original Spider-Man trilogy. Like nostalgia makes it better than it clearly was.
1 and 2 are pretty good though.
3 is
But 3 is
just
terrible.
trash.
3 is
3
very bad.
It
3 is horrible.
It goes way fucking downhill.
Yeah, no, it's
So,
very bad.
I'm with Sean. Like, to me, the best superhero trilogy is the Captain America trilogy.
I don't
To
like
go
the
from the
one.
first Avenger to the Winter Soldier to Civil War, I just thought,
I can't agree with that because one, I don't like the first one.
Right.
But I also don't really count Civil War as a Captain America movie like that.
that's what a lot of people say. But at
It's
the end of the
not.
day, it was his story.
Not really though.
Like, people
it
like,
was
oh, it's
just
like,
as much Iron Man's as his. Iron Man's face was just as big on that poster.
I mean, that's true.
I think if you count screen time, it's more Captain America than it is Iron
But if
Man.
you count story, I feel like Iron Man played just as big a part in that movie.
I get where you're coming from.
All right, but given it that cheat, we'll call it a cheat. I still like name a better MCU trilogy because the third Iron Man is shit.
It is.
Yeah.
Thor 1 and 2 are not great.
Yeah. I would have to give it to just the Avengers count. I feel like
The Avengers.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you feel like if you put the Winter Soldier and Civil War up against Age of Ultron, are you picking Age of Ultron?
no.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
So-
you're right.
So even if we do count that, like Age of Ultron really
Yeah.
read the comic book is based off of. It is significantly better.
I mean, Age of Ultron was good though. Like, it was a good movie. You guys don't like Age of
I
Ultron?
don't think it
You
was
know,
bad. I
Have
think
you
it
ever
was,
read any Ultron like comics?
I have not read any Ultron.
It's just like it could have been way better.
It could have been
than
way
it was.
fucking better.
Ultron
Okay.
wasn't like in the comics or even like a cartoon is not the way they portrayed him.
Do you
in the
remember the
movie.
Age of Ultron trailers?
Yeah.
Okay, because those were some of my favorite Marvel trailers of all time.
Okay.
Right, straight up, I remember watching that trailer, and like I got chills with the whole like "there's no strings on me," and him coming in at the end. And he's like, "There's no strings." Like I'm like, I cannot
That was intense.
fucking wait, right?
Right.
And we did an episode about MCU villains. Ultron is the most disappointing villain in any superhero movie to me.
Let me ask
because
why.
he should have been significant. Quips, get him the fuck out of here. I don't want a jokey Ultron. He is a robot on a mission, and his mission is to eliminate. Why the fuck is he making jokes? Stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like they set him up to be this super menacing like machine, like somebody you wanted to be afraid of.
Right.
And he wasn't. By the end of it, he was a joke. Like he was literally a joke to me. So I'm just like, I was just disappointed. The
could feel
trailer made it seem like James Spader, like amazing casting choice for the voice. I'm like, this is gonna be great, and it wasn't. And like I said, I have that comic book background where like I've read the comic,
Right.
and he's so different. He's menacing in the comic
You know,
books,
how, like
and he's not in
Thanos
the
didn't
movie.
really joke around. He was just kind of menacing.
Yeah.
Ultron should have been more menacing than Thanos.
He should have been.
Okay.
He should have been more
See,
menacing
from
than
that
Thanos.
aspect, I can understand because Ultron wasn't crazy menacing. He was more.
He
He
just
was damn near professor. You
yeah,
feel
he
me?
seemed
was
like a
sitting
silly
there, like-
robot by the end
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him silly, but he was very like humane, more
Yeah.
or less.
They did too much of him adopting his personality from Tony Stark.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
And
I
they
didn't
shouldn't
like-
have gone that route.
And there were some moments where he made a joke, and I thought that was good. Like when he's talking to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver for the first time, and he's like, you guys keep making what do you call them? Oh, little humans, And I'm like, okay, that could have if he delivered it slightly different, it
Right.
would have been like a Joker joke. You know what I mean? Like how like when
Yeah.
Joker make jokes,
Yeah.
they're never fucking funny. It's never like he's making a joke to make you laugh.
It's like
You're
to
like,
scare the fuck
yeah,
out of you.
you're like, this dude's crazy.
Yeah.
Ultron should have been like that. And I didn't like that they didn't do it. Like he said, like he should have been more menacing than Thanos. Like,
Okay. Thanos
And-
was menacing as fuck.
right.
Yeah.
And that's why,
Yeah.
like Age of Ultron to me, I'm just like, I like all the cool fight scenes and shit, but the villain, hate him.
I
Don't like it.
also think that Hawkeye got a little too much screen time in Age of Ultron. too.
Yeah, they had to. I get why they did it, but it is kind of like, okay.
Yeah. They kind of need him
They
to.
did Quicksilver bogus in that movie.
He should have fucking been taking lessons from Makari, apparently.
Yeah.
She should have hopped in and was like, look,
And
dude,
speedsters
you're
have
slow.
to die.
Yeah.
They're too damn strong. Speedsters have to die.
That's what I'm wondering what they're going to do with her.
She's going to have to die.
She's, or something. They're going to have to.
Or they're going to have to nerf the hell out of her.
Nerf her.
I mean, they didn't kill Quicksilver in the X-Men series.
That's true.
Yeah, but he only ever gets one scene every movie.
True.
That's also true.
He gets
It's
one.
essentially the same scene in every movie.
Yeah, just a little
They
bit
just give
bigger
him one
scale.
scene.
Yeah, they're like
They would have killed him if that first scene wasn't as popular as
I
it was.
agree. They
It
would've
was
took
so
him out.
popular, they were like, well, we got to keep him around so we can keep doing this scene over again.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I agree. So, did you make a decision? What's your best? Oh, X-Men.
Oh, yeah, probably X-Men.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
I'm going to have to watch X-Men again, but I'm still going to have to give it to X-Men.
I
as of
respect
right
that
now.
answer. Just that I think I knew too much about X-Men for Last Stand, and that's why I was disappointed.
Last Stand was a little... Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But at the time, I didn't have the knowledge of it. So, because I learned... Actually, no, I did. Because that's back when I was watching X-Men Evolution. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Loved it. Been
He
trying to
loved
get
it.
him to
I
watch
haven't
it.
watched
You've
it.
never seen
I
it?
haven't watched
It's great. It's a great.
X-Men Evolution is good.
Yeah, I know.
It's good.
I know.
I rocked with it. That was another one I used to get from the library.
Yeah, I gotta watch it, man. I gotta watch it.
Shout out to
It's on
X-Men
my
Evolution.
list.
That was
Yeah.
my shit.
Definitely. Cool. So with that being said, anything else you guys got?
All right. So we haven't mentioned the scene about the Celestial taking the characters. We got surprised because I was fucking surprised when he just showed
when he
up
like
with his
split the
big
clouds
face on
and his
the
face
earth.
was just there. It's like, what the fuck?
He kind of looked like Galactus.
Yep.
So yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
And it makes me
that's what we
wonder
thought.
if they're gonna introduce Galactus and make him a Celestial,
I think that's
or
probably
maybe if
the route they're
maybe
gonna go.
this Celestial will be Galactus.
Which is weird because in the comic books he's not a Celestial.
Yeah.
In fact, he has fought Celestials in the comic books. Yeah, he's
They may or may not go that
so
route.
I don't know.
But
But it would be the easy way to do it, right?
it's possible that he could become Galactus, though. Like, maybe their actions would somehow change some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, balance type of thing. Like,
Right.
okay, now that this one dude isn't here, some balancing shit. You know, like they something like that. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
It just makes me more excited if they ever do Galactus. It's not going to be like a Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer,
a giant fucking
which is
cloud.
a giant cloud.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, if they ever do him, they're going
They
to
need
go
to do
for
it.
it.
They need to do it just like
was
that.
not
'Cause
the vibes.
the clouds went dark and it split and his face. I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah, I was like, is that supposed to be?
Yeah,
Galactus?
and he's
Yo.
fucking huge. I'm like,
Yeah.
and the whole like warping away effect. I was like, that's good. That was.
I
nice.
feel like the Celestial was oddly small when it was like coming from the Earth.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, that head and hand are kind of small in comparison of how big
Well, I
it's
mean,
supposed
he's,
to be.
He's a baby Celestial, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
he's
true.
still got some more
Gain some
growing to do.
energy, get
Yeah, I
bigger
don't know.
later. Yeah, true.
I guess that's the way they could explain that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right, cool, man. So yeah, I'm excited for Galactus. I'm excited to see where they go with this in general, and I think
too.
that's what I was gonna say. Like with the whole movie and the after credit scenes, like I don't know where they're going.
Yeah,
I
me
have
either.
no idea, and like I feel like a lot of the other Marvel movies, we know what's coming next. With this, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the next movie's Spider-Man, and it's not gonna have anything to do with this. You know
Nope.
what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just like, I guess we'll
You
wait
know
and
what, though?
see.
I feel like everything else coming out recently has been like kind of going along with this Spider-Man Doctor Strange thing, and it was cool to get this as like completely
Yeah,
different.
that's what I'm
Everything's been
saying,
setting
yeah.
up like parallel universes, and
I'm excited for Spider-Man Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
Me
though.
too. Me
Yeah.
too.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so I feel like that's going to be. And I'm a fan of Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
It's a great
a-
choice.
Yeah, I know that's an unpopular opinion. A lot of people think
Oh.
that Tobey Maguire is the best. I think that Tom Holland is
I don't-
doing the best
I did
job.
talk about this too.
Ooh.
I think Tobey Maguire is the best
Peter
Peter
Parker.
Parker. Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire, but
Tom Holland's
Tom Holland is
best
the
of
best.
both.
Yeah, both.
I disagree with you. I actually have a TikTok about this also, actually. I think that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. I think that Andrew Garfield was not the best of either. And I think that
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker.
Interesting.
And I think he also does a very good Spider-Man, but I think he's the best Peter Parker. Dude, he's a
he,
I feel
quirky,
like traditional nerdy.
right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's a great modern interpretation of Peter Parker, not the glasses wearing, book holding, backpack nerdy kid that we're used to.
But
they
he
did a good
is
job.
nerdy in terms of what nerdy means today.
Exactly.
Right.
They
Yeah.
did a
Right.
good job of modernizing everything. The nerds, the bullies. Like Flash Thompson is just another fucking nerd. He's
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like We talked like,
but I don't
that's all
feel
he
like
is.
not Tom Holland. Jesus, so many names. Tobey Maguire. I don't feel like he was nerdy at all. I didn't feel, bro. He was like 40 years old. Like, he was in high school like 40, bro. Like he was sitting in that lunchroom.
They were all
old
grown
as
ass
shit,
man.
dog.
Yeah,
Like, come on now. That he was wearing the glasses, holding the camera and shit. Older than my dad. Like that shit was nuts to me. Like that was crazy to me.
I thought he was a good Peter Parker.
I mean, he wasn't a bad Peter Parker. He did do a very good job as Spider-Man. I think he was the best Spider-Man.
Interesting. That's a very interesting take. Without diving into that. I disagree.
That's another episode.
Yeah, it is.
My bad. I could talk all day.
No, we definitely could. But we're going to wrap this one up. Sean, you want to let them know where they can find us?
Yeah, you can find us at Close Calls Pod. You can do it on Gmail. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on Twitter. And you can do it on TikTok.
Hey.
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
You want to tag?
You want to let them know where they can find you?
Y'all can check me out every week on the Storm Podcast. That is the THA Storm Pod. You can find that on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever y'all want to go. Or if y'all just interested in just me, you can find me at Malcolm Crawford _. That's everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Y'all know what it is. I'm everywhere there. And if you want to check out my clothing brand, that's also an option. And that is Almost X Enough. And that's everywhere else.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's me.
That's great, man. Hey, man, thanks again for coming on.
Yo, this was super awesome.
Really appreciate it, bro.
We'll definitely do another one. Y'all got to come on to my show.
Definitely.
That'll be lit.
Definitely.
Y'all got to come over to the Storm real quick.
Absolutely, man. I'm all about it. I'm all about
It's gonna be lit. We got some more conversations we gotta have. I gotta get you into anime before.
I gotta get you into Batman, so
Yeah.
we got work to do.
We'll
I gotta
do
change
it.
your opinion about Spider-Man. I got a lot of work.
Okay,
we
it's gonna be
definitely
fun.
got
It's
work
gonna
to
be
do.
fun.
But hey, thanks everybody for listening to this one. We really appreciate it. Without the listeners, we would be nothing. Tell your friend, tell a colleague, get other people listening. Thanks for coming back. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.